of the closing argument. We have our special guest today, the CEO of Focus on Liberia, Mr. Dennis Jar, going to be here talking about issues affecting the media landscape. We are going to talk about the recent launch of the class Reloaded and the government announcement of using ELBC and all government outlets for propaganda instead of information dissemination. How have this affected the media landscape in Liberia, on the air, social media, independent outlet like this one, Spoon Network, Focus on Liberia. So we have decided to invite some of the CEOs of these corporations. Let's see how are they dealing with this? What is the way forward? How are we going to deal with a media or government that have monopolized the media landscape strictly for propaganda purposes and not public information and education? So Dennis Jar is going to be charming. We are also at some point going to be joined by the CEO of this institution, Mr. George, and he himself is going to chime in on how are we collectively dealing with the onslaught of newsmakers becoming news reporters. Basically, they have become the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Are we holding them to book? Are we holding their feet to the fire? And how are we doing it? Are we effective? What is the strategy moving forward? These are some of the things we're going to be discussing today with our guests. And as usual, we are going to ask the audience of Charming, how is this affecting you, the consumer? Do you approve? Does the government have a right to do propaganda 24/7? Or do they owe it to the representatives of the people to be honest and provide information for you to digest and make your own comments? How do you feel living in a country where the media, the news, is totally controlled by the government? Have you lived this before? Have you seen this before? Is there any historical evidence that we have traveled this path before? So if you are a historian, you have lived in Liberia long enough to have seen previous government do this, please bring us some education. Let us juxtapose the administration that did this to the administration personally. If there's any differences, we'll look at them. Similarities, we're going to look at them. And then we're going to look at the pros and the cons of how government media directly or indirectly impact the lives of our people. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the back, please bring on our guests. Let's begin the process. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, let us share this show. We have a special guest, the host and CEO of Focus on Liberia, Mr. Dennis Jar. Before I bring him on, let me share the show. Before I ask you to share the show, let me share the show. So you go ahead and share the show. Let the folks know that Honorable Jar is here. CEO Jar is here. And Mr. Jar, will you do the same? Share the show. Let's do this. And let us get to business. Mr. Jack, good afternoon.
Hello, Mr. Gilman.
Where are you coming in from?
Well, I'm joining you from the headquarters of Focus on Liberia in Atlanta, Georgia.
Excellent. Every time that we host, I think this is your first time coming on the closing argument. Is that so?
That is correct.
So then, is it appropriate for me to toast to you as you have always done on your show?
All right.
There you go. Welcome.
Thank you.
As courtesy, I have to go to your hometown. The weather in Atlanta today, as far as Miami is concerned, is 77 degrees and 13 miles per hour wind. Is very windy. And they say here, cloudy in Atlanta. And then in your hometown, Maryland County, it's 78 degrees cloudy. Wind is 5 miles an hour. It's not actually, the wind is not blowing in Maryland County. So here you are, I have given you a platitude of the sweet welcome from our brother, the CEO of Atlanta, and from Maryland County. So how are you? How is your family?
Good. And I don't know how you got me in Maryland County if I'm running to be the superintendent of Sino.
Oh, you are from Sino. Okay, let me look at. We got someone from Sino County that been tuning in, and I don't know if you are familiar with. It is called D2FM in Sino. They tune in, so they are watching and listening to you. D2FM in Sino. So your job is waiting for you.
Oh yeah. I mean, we want to change things, but I'm happy to be here.
Great.
And let me also let you know that you are live on our YouTube channel and our Twitch channel. So wherever you're watching from, you're going to be live as well. I'm happy to be here. I see that some of my FOL folks are here, so I'm happy to see them and check on them and make sure they are still consistent, because there are some of them I don't recognize anymore. I see one, we first know him to the drive, then he went to the closing argument, then he went to spoon, now he's to class reloaded. So sometimes I don't recognize some of my FOL folks anymore, but there are some who I believe are still consistent.
So that means you feel at home everywhere you go.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Excellent. Now, for those who don't know who Mr. Jar is, who is Mr. Dennis Jar?
Well, I'm a Liberian, or you could say Liberian American, and I live here in Atlanta, Georgia, originally from Torgbean, Sino County, the town noted for its faith, its agriculture, and that's the place where children eat book like kaya. But things have changed, okay, yes, I in Torgbean State, Morovia, as a result of the war, which I always like to mention, because the war really shaped us. They say what can kill you make you stronger, so became stronger. As a result of the war, I sought refuge in Guinea from 1990, and part of Guinea, the forest region all over that place. I also sought refuge in the Ivory Coast. I sought refuge in Nigeria, that's the Ogun State, that's the Oru refugee camp. Finally, sought refuge in Ghana, that's the Buduburo camp that was recently demolished before coming to the States. I am married with 3 kids, and we've been operating Focus on Liberia since August 2017, and we cover almost everything. We a big network where we have politics as usual. We have religion, business, finance, and economics. We have Liberian history, literature, and you name it. And also some things that have to do with Africa as a whole. So I'm glad to be here. And we've been managing this network since 2017. And we are noted for our educational basis, that grounding in education. Our goal here is to educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Like everybody else, I work and something to keep the roof over our head.
Excellent. You didn't say much about your upbringing. I know you didn't go to the best school in the country, Bassa High School, but you did go to some kind of school. Tell us about.
Look, I went to the best school because, as I told you, in Torgbean, where I was born, a group of missionaries had gone to Liberia and they settled there. So the Torgbean Mission School, we have 2 schools in that part of Sino County, Japuka Mission, Torgbean Mission. These were the best. When I came from Torgbean and went to Monrovia College, I mean, I could take anybody down. So this was one of the best schools. I went to school in Torgbean. I also went to the prestigious Monrovia College and Industrial Training School, where I graduated from, with folks like Sylvester Pewee, who was my valedictorian, and then tried going to the University of Liberia, 1989. Went to the University of Liberia. Of course, the war interrupted. Came to the United States in 2000 and started from scratch, from the Buss Community College in Newtown, PA. Now I have a master's degree. People sometimes, in my concentrate, healthcare management and policy. A lot of people think that I did political science, but no. My first degree is in computer networking, and my graduate degree is in health management and policy with concentration in health informatics. And I've been working in that area for the past almost over 15 years now.
Thank you very much. And I thought your living was done in computer programming because you are so good at what you do. But if you went to MC, what is the mascot of MC? What are you, the monkeys?
We are the monkeys, the Frisco monkeys.
If you are a monkey, this is time for you to either chime in the comment section. At some point, we are going to do a segment on the best schools in the country. And this man had already sent out a salvo. You said the MC was the best school in the country.
Yeah. I
want to hear what Bassa High School got to say, Kipama High School, ACS, Monrovia College, College of West Africa, Torgbean High. You guys come on and tell us why you think you are better than MC. So
in 1988, when I was captain of the quizzing team, we took second place. We fell with a cheater in the final, and St. Patrick's won.
Oh, so you get second to St. Patrick. Okay, that's good. But let's get to business here. The reason that we invited you is you have been in the business for a very long time. And most of us, most of the young folks, most of the folks in the media landscape, you give them their start. And you are still here. Something happened the past week or so. The government of Liberia have begun to do something that is very strange. I've never seen in my political life. When the CEO of LBS decided that now they have become or will become the mouthpiece of the government. Through that, they launched the class Reloaded. And I think it was you that coined the famous term, the famous phrase, newsmakers becoming news reporters. Can you talk to us about how you came up with that phrase and why you think the newsmakers are now becoming the newsbreaker? I mean, newsbreaker to break the news.
Well, first of all, the media landscape has changed over the years. And where social media, anyone with a smartphone now, you can operate a TV station, right? So things have changed. And the politics in Liberia has dictated how people do these things. And most of it has not been all that good for the media landscape. So, everybody now is a journalist. Citizen journalism has taken place. So whether you are in Feasible, Lofa County, or Bokonjire in Sino County, or you are in Compound 3 in Grand Bassa County, wherever you are, you can just operate your own TV station. And this is good, right? Because I remember what I normally say I tell people is, If we had cell phone that time, the war was not going to devastate Liberia so much. Because we in Barnesville, you don't know what's happening down the road. You don't even know what's happening in Guar. Sometimes they came and told us, oh, in Fender, they are dividing food. People in Claratown, they don't know what's going on in Nuclear. People in the central city, they say, oh, across the bridge, everything okay, right? And so you take off yourself to go in these areas that you think you heard rumors that things are fine. And when you go there, you are grabbed, sometimes killed, all kinds of things happen, right? So if we had cell phone, you could just tell them, hey, the rebels are not friendly. They are killing people. So don't come here, right? We could do all that. And so fast forward after the war now, we have all media institutions. We started with, when social media has not come, we were writing on the listserv, right? There where we exchange our views. Now, if you have a cell phone, you can operate your own media network, which is good, but also it comes with the downside. What I have noticed over the years is we started having party-leaning platform. So if you have a platform and you support a particular political party or a particular political viewpoint, you get the views. You get people coming to you and part of you. If you are, for instance, a CDC leaning platform, what you have is all the sedition will come and join you and boost your morale, right? If you are a Unity Party leaning platform, and so that continued for a while. And then we have a certain media institution that was very good at that, and many people believe they tilted the scale during the 2023 election because whoever these guys supported, many people were watching them and they were able to sway opinions. So when people look at that, they say, well, what we can do is we can operate our own media institution. We can do this. So you see political parties. In fact, almost every politician in Monrovia has his or her own radio station because they want to give a message. And it's very dangerous to just have, or it's not a good business model to say, well, I'm going to have a radio station just to talk about myself. I mean, you can do that anywhere else, but people felt that what they needed to do. So what we saw over the years is almost every politician will want to buy or have leverage on a certain online media platform. That continued, and we saw how elections went. If people were on a platform promoting a particular political ideology or a particular political candidate, that candidate and all of his or her supporters went there. So I think so right now, we know which media institution is being supported by whom. And so almost every election cycle, we see that. So I think what the government is doing, so the government was first supported by one particular media station or platform, even though government has all his media outlets like ELBC or LBS as we call it, or the LENA, even though these people they're supposed to be public for the public, but they have been able to just tote the government side. Why we are contending with that? So many people they feel excluded from maybe access to the media. For instance, if I have my political campaign, I should be able to go on ELBC, even though I'm from the other political party. But these things have not been happening. And as if that was not enough, government is also trying to say, well, the online media space is very popular now. A lot of people listen to them. So what we can also do is we can have our own, where we can promote, where we can talk about ourselves, where we, the news makers, can become the news reporters. But that has, and I watch them. When I watch them, they say, well, a lot of things that we do as a government, they've not been reported. Well, whose business is it to report it? So what we're going to do now is to report it ourselves. We're going to take the camera to the projects, the various projects that government is operating, so we can report from those sites. Mind you, that's the role of the independent press. But they do not believe that the independent press can give them their fair share, so they will do it themselves. How credible is that going to be? Well, in our country, we love government. And it's very sad that whatever you do, and maybe that's because government next to God, somebody said. And two, government people have all the money. So if you want to get some of the money, you have to tag yourself to a government official. So if you are a government official, even when you write one line on the social media, everybody comes there to respond because people want to link up to that big guy, right? And we've seen that. I mean, take for instance, some guys that are in government, but when they leave government, nobody talks to them anymore because they don't have the money to dish out, or they don't have that prestige that people want to align with. So all these things are happening. Now, coming to class reload, and they call it class, right? And that's unfortunate because in Liberia, the school system is bad. Okay, it's bad. Our students are not really learning. The education we got when we were in elementary school, junior high, and high school, I mean, that is not the same these days. And there is no premium. I told you I grew up in my own town of Torgbean, where if you were good in school, I mean, people place a lot of premium on quality education. But now, because we have seen, we have witnessed fly-by-night people who didn't even go to school or graduate. After the war, some people were able to kill people, loot, and get money. So education now has not become the key to success. If you were able to amass wealth, whatever means, you become successful. In fact, with that wealth, you can go to school and buy your degree, and you can graduate cum laude or magna cum laude and all that, right? So education is no longer attractive. So if you have a platform that disseminates what government wants to hear and you call it class, you are teaching people. Well, I'm not surprised because most of our classrooms have not been doing very well. Now, if you are independent press, if you even want to invite a government official, they won't come because they know you are going to be objective, you're going to be fair, so they don't come to you, right? They go to their friendly media station. They've done that for a while, but when you start giving the rat milk, the rat will later on demand cookies, the rat will start demanding more things. So the more these government people align with certain media institutions, they start extorting money from them. They start getting money from them. So the guys start asking for more and more. And we've seen that from the Unity Party 1.0, CDC, and now Unity Party 2.0. So when they grew tired of giving money to these guys endlessly, they say, well, we're going to do it ourselves. So now Class Reloaded started doing it. I mean, I have invited some of these people, and sometimes you invite them, they will give you all the reason. Of late, the reason I've been getting is, hey, I'm not the minister proper, or I'm not the director proper. But when I look on closing argument, sometimes I don't see the minister proper. The deputy will be there, the assistant will be there, or promoting government line, which is fine. But what that does to us now is, if you are the newsmaker, when you come on my station, I get more people following me. That translates into views that I can cash in on Facebook or YouTube, right? With that, I'm able to get some money and pay my employees in Liberia. But what you were doing, like they were doing before, one government after another, if you are in opposition, they don't allow people to even bring ads to you. And when you operate in media in Liberia, is the advertisement and people coming to you with the announcement. That's why will make you make some money. So if they tap concessionaires or tap people from coming to you, you're not going to have money. Now, we have tried to be on certain radio stations in Monrovia. One of them is ELBC. What ELBC told us is like, just for an hour program, pay us $200. But mind you, the programs that we are doing, like for instance, the History Channel, right? Liberian history that has almost never been taught in Liberian school. We are doing it. So we want a platform on our government station to be able to air that and teach Liberians. They say pay us $200 per hour. We don't have that money. We have the Liberian literature called the Literary Hour. We want to add that on our government station as part of the education for our country. They say pay us $200. We have a show, Business, Finance, and Economics. where we talk about the economy. We have a show like the Justice Forum, where we talk about legal issues from the experts. If we want to do these things on the radio station, they say, pay us money. We don't have that money, right? And so we are not able to do it. But then now, government, with all government resources, they are doing this platform, and everybody who wants to be part of government and get part of some of the crumbs that falls from their mouths, they link up to this platform. Besides, ELBC now, you are airing there probably free, or you are using government money to do that. So you are government is putting putting us out of business. I'm not able to maintain the payroll in Monrovia because government is squeezing us out. But we keep fighting because we can't give up. We swore to do what we can to educate our people, because government come, government go. So this government will be gone and our people will still be not informed. So we have to do our best in spite of the challenges we get to inform them.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me reintroduce the show. This is the closing argument, our Wednesday's edition. And our special guest is the CEO and founder of Focus on Liberia. He's here to discuss what's happening in Liberia, where in my lifetime, I have seen propaganda, but I have never seen the actual public forum, the ELBC, LBS, to be now used to propagate the propaganda of the government, where they make the news, they set the agenda, and now they are reporting the news as they want it, not as it happened. So, for instance, Mr. Jai just mentioned, if they are doing a project, they will take their own camera and they will come and say, this is what we are doing. Now, that should be the role of the independent press. They should go and see whether the role is actually there, whether what the government show is actually pre-recorded or something for a year ago. We cannot justify, we cannot independently verify because the government is shielding everybody else. On the other hand, the government says that they want that the Liberians should get into the private sector and create jobs. But then you squeezing out the closing argument, everybody else focus on Liberia, those who come into the space here, and they have to lay off their employees. So these are Liberians that are being squeezed out. Ahmed, welcome to the show. You are muted.
Thank you.
We have with us today the CEO of Focus on Liberia, Mr. Dennis Jai is here. And we are discussing basically the role of this government, how they are handling the media space, using the government airway exclusively for propaganda and squeezing out the independent media space. That's our topic. If you have anything any question for now, Mr. Jai is here. Mm-hmm. He will be able to answer those questions while we have him.
Well, first, I just want to commend him, not just for coming on the show today, but the great work his institution has been doing to expand the information space. I follow their activities, and I think they bring both credibility and a balance in reporting information. Disinformation and misinformation have been two factors that have been considered as a threat to free speech, to a democratic society. And just to piggyback on what you said with regard to a government-owned strategy, is another form of muscling. It's another form of undermining free press. Because when government, who is largely the newsmaker, now take over the space of reporting news, thereby effectively not only financially, but even morally affecting other independent institutions that should provide the Liberian people an opportunity to the rightful information, the choice. You are indirectly muscling the press, except at this time you may not be using force and stuff, but you are censoring the press indirectly, and we think that is dangerous for our democracy. Look, many a times when we raise this issue, we raise them from the background where we have an idea, the enormous power and influence government has. And so when government set that level of precedent in Liberia, unfortunately, what I have noticed is that instead of government coming to correct the wrong of one government and bringing something new, they tend to go pro-max on the wrong thing that the other government did. If today there is an indirect censorship of the media through government reducing the space by which independent media will operate through the huge financial support to their own platforms and media institutions, to the extent where those who are the newsmakers, those of whom the media should hold accountable through interviews and stories and stuff like that, completely shut down to give access to any other form of except a government-led propaganda missionary. Another institution, another form of government could just come and just cut it off completely. That is what is happening in countries like China and Korea, where the government runs the media to the extent what they tell the people day has broken, even though it is midnight. But because the people they don't even have their own watcher to determine whether it's true. That's what's happening. So, but we can't. But those of us who have other means and commit ourselves to this process, I think we should continue in this direction, and we should continue to push it, no matter how small the corridor to provide the truth. The truth is big enough. No matter how you try to suppress it, eventually it will bust open. And so we just want to commend FOL and the rest of those independent institutions there. But if I may ask you, now that we are faced with this challenge, the new challenge, unlike perhaps in the past where the media was either closed, the media was either arrested, jailed, and stuff like that, now that we see a new form of suppression of the media, what strategy, what do you think we can do now to remain relevant, to ensure that the truth continue to prevail? What do you think? What's your approach in that direction?
Thank you very much. That's a very important question. And thank you for following focus on Liberia. We do our best. Now, first, let me say that this phenomenon is not new, except that it changes from one administration to the other, or as time progresses, things change. So, like you rightly said before, I mean, we witnessed the burning, for instance, of the Daily Observer, the closed down newspapers. During President Doe's time, they will move on the newspaper, close it, or they don't give license to a certain radio station or take away their license because of something they have said. We saw with President Salif, you will sue this journalist, sue that journalist, kind of trying to intimidate people from reporting. We saw that. So we continue to see that it's just that it takes different forms. So in the age of social media, where those radio stations, even though they reach far and near and people are able to tune into them, but social media has taken the media landscape by storm. So with this new, so what started to happen before even this time, before government want to get in this business, is, as I said before, people would go to a particular platform, social media platform, that support their ideas, that is fostering their agenda. That's what they were that's what they were doing. And in that light, they were going to suck out everything from the other people. But if they could no longer satisfy that particular group, they move away. So now what I think, the only and the way people are responding to them, some people are responding to them with, okay, since government is doing this, we're going to go to our own rich man. We're going to get another millionaire in Liberia because it's all money, right? Who's going to support us? Who's going to finance our efforts so that we remain relevant, right? So people are responding differently. People say, well, okay, let me get my own political leader, or let me get this rich man to back us up.
So
I think
real quick, let me push back on that. If that is the logic, are you saying you are now using a rich man to help you push back against the government?
No, that's what other stations are doing.
Oh, but you're not doing it.
No, that's not what we do.
Okay, so
that's not what we do. I mean, even during the campaign, people were in a subtle way trying to reach out to us. I mean, there was this big government people. They came and they said, hey, we want to be on your station. I said, well, fine, that's what we do. We always want different people coming to us. So if you're government, you have a particular point of view, welcome. Okay, in fact, we had the deputy press secretary, what is his name? Smith Toby, for I think 12 or 13 episodes presenting the side of government. That's what we want to do. But what really they were asking for was more than that when they approach us. So no, that's not what we do. The only way you can fight this kind of thing is to remain true to yourself, to what you believe, to be independent. Because in essence, you will invalidate, you're going to poke holes in the credibility of these propaganda stations. I've been in church long enough to know what praise and worship is. So these stations that are carry on the praise and worship of, we have to present the facts. And we have to be fearless. When President Weah was in power and they were always talking about this condominium, what he was building, I tried to send my journalists there and they said, no, CEO, we can't because the people will do this. So I said, go there, let them kill you. You know, and they said, well, you in America, and so that's what you were saying. But we have to be fearless. We have to report the truth. So if government, for instance, is saying that, hey, we build 45 miles highway from Grand Cru to Grand Jide, let's be able to send reporters there and verify, even though government will carry her own cameras. Because it's funny, right? I remember when Kofi Woods was public works minister. I mean, he will be in his suit and he was building, right? Every time he's constructing roads and they send the pictures. When the Ellen Johnson government left, we didn't see those roads. When Weah came, he was the bar road medicine and he was building roads. When he left, we don't see those roads. Now, Waka is there building. I was surprised they were talking about Sacre-Pied Road. I said, but wait now, I thought the road was built ever since, right? So what we can do as the independent press now is to take our cameras to those places and report the truth and still remain truthful.
So here's the thing though. You talk about perhaps people turning to money men, perhaps. So finance is a very critical component for the process. But this is the new thing now. It's like it's not just about the money man now. So yeah, you got a money man that is an independent person who got money, wants to finance his radio station. It will help, it will extend it, it will sustain it, and all of that. That's or his media empire will sustain it. But what we are saying now is that the newsmaker, the people who control the information, technically who got the information, yeah, will do the investigation. They have now evolved themselves into the news themselves.
Yeah.
So it's different from they're now. So let's say if they were in the government, but sponsoring other stations, maybe that's another thing. But instead of doing that, perhaps they have formed themselves as the news. They have the money.
And that's what I'm saying.
The station, they sit on the station. They go there. So like take for example, you talk about building the roads in Sacre-Pied, and you want information. Yes, you send your journalists there. They see the actual something, but you need voice and stuff. You go to the public web minister and tell you, listen to me on so and so station. I can't talk to you. I can't do this. I can't do that. It stays, regardless if you have the resources, it still undermines your work. But all in all, what do you think that would do to democracy?
And that's what I said. If you muzzle the press, and we've been feeling the pinch, right? Because we've been trying to be honest and factual from the beginning. So it's really weakening democracy, because if every time we are having a show and we are discussing, they say, oh, why don't you invite this other minister? Why don't you invite? But if you invite them, they don't come, right? They go on their praise and worship station to do this. So it is very, very difficult. So what I'm saying we can do is try to still do our best to make them look like liars, because if they are only reporting to polish their own image, if we can go there now and present the facts and stay true to our core and let the public, which is also hard, and let the public see them as not credible. But we have a stage, we have a country now where, government next to God, and so everybody wants to be in the good graces of government. So you will see a lot of people watching this station and believing them and cheering them on because they are willing to get their own thing. But it's a very difficult place we are now when government takes over everything. They don't talk to the independent press. They don't talk to us. They don't. In fact, if they have something called the MICAT, where yes, you have a show, you call people. They may ask few questions, but not really. The kind of scrutiny that they're supposed to get from the independent press, they're not getting it. And that is hampering what we do. In fact, it's putting us out of business. Because the newsmakers that bring the crowd, they are no longer coming, they are on their own. And the goal here is so that they will manipulate what people hear. And so at the end of the day, people will continue to side with them. That is a difficult thing. So the way to do it, in my view, is to be able to continue to challenge them, is to be able to present the truth and give a counter narrative that is truthful, not to use propaganda to fight propaganda.
Can I ask you one? We have Mr. Costa here about a week or two ago, and he said, Mr. Gaiman, I am 42 years old. I am not willing to add another 12 years to my life waiting and criticizing and fighting. I have a son. I have a life. I want to live. So what he basically saying is we are between a rock and a hard place. You are 50 years old. He said, add 12 years to your 50 years and see where you're going to be 12 years from now. So how do you navigate the two? How do you compromise? How do you navigate the because you still got to keep the light on. You are operating a station. Right. You got to pay your employee. Everything dried up. They are forcing you to either join them or die.
Right. And Mr. Gaiman, that's why
the number is in the back.
Okay. Guys, you'll bring Mr. Nyenwolo on. Yeah, go ahead.
And that's where your calling comes in, right? And I'm glad Mr. Nyenwolo is coming because his boss, Gabriel Bacchus Murphy, said something similar, right? They say, hey, I've been preaching to the Liberian people. I've been saying all these things. They didn't listen to me. They listened to Charles Taylor. Even though Charles Taylor is a tyrant, I'm still going to join him, right? So they're going to squeeze you. They're going to do all that to you to try to turn the light off. And most of the time, and in fact, in Liberia, by the time you say something, they say, oh, the people are hungry. The people are hungry, so they have to do it. You look at someone who is ridiculously unqualified for a job. But because that person gave you money, you elect that person because you are hungry. Okay? But what you are doing, in essence, is you are multiplying your own hunger. Because that person is not able to open things up so that the country, so that there will be employment, so that the literacy rate will go down. So you're going to be in that perpetual cycle. So we have to be true to ourselves and our calling. If you are called to, fly wherever the wind blows you, then that's you. There's a certain bird, when the bird is flying, the breeze blows, they will say, in fact, that the place I will go and say, right? So we have people like that, like you mentioned, Mr. Costa, and we have seen over the years how he tried to cash in. Okay, you will support this person who's giving you money, and he will tell you, okay, CDC gave me 5,000 because I was propagating for them. As 5,000, that money is small. And then, oh, Mr. Cassell gave me money, so I was supposed to do this. Mr. Cummings gave me money. This person gave me money. I'm with Buaka is giving me money. And then the election came, CDC is giving me money. So if we do this money thing because we are hungry, or because I'm 50 and I have 10 or 20 more active years. If we do that, where do we leave the country? Okay, people in South Africa during the days of Nelson Mandela, they could have done the same. Oh, we are hungry, so let's just live with apartheid. So because we are hungry and the government is powerful, there's nothing we can do. You could say that, and today we'll still have apartheid in South Africa. But it will take people, it will take men and women to challenge it and say, even if I go hungry, let me do it. Let me be the sacrificial lamb for this generation so that the generation after me can live better. We can do that too. And for me, even if we have no lights, even if I lose all my employees in Monrovia because we cannot pay them anymore, I will ask them, ladies and gentlemen, if you can even volunteer 1 day a week so that we can continue to do what we are doing, that will be fine. But we have to make the conscious decision to say we're going to fight on the side of truth and not bend this way or that way, because time is catching up with us and we need to join government so that we can participate in the gravy train.
Thank you. Let me welcome veteran Victor. Victor Namwe, how you doing there, young man?
Hey, Mr. Goodman, how are you? Mr. Jal, it's good to see you, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yes. What's up, my brother?
I'm okay. Good to see you.
Yeah. So
quick question before we go. I'm not going to hold him too long, and I will not put him into Liberian politics because I wanted to ask him about the bill that was just passed to validate the previous budget, but I won't go there with him. But the story that I want for us, this one's going to be neutral. It's a particular story today in a Liberian Investigator, and it is called "Who Owns the Mighty Barrow?" A very interesting piece. We discussed it a little bit, but if you had two questions for the CEO.
And feel free to ask me anything. That's, they don't call me the well-rounded for nothing.
Mr. Namba, your questions, please.
Mr. Jal, welcome. For full disclosure, I also freelance with FOL. As a matter of fact, I started my, appearances on the platforms, podcasts from FOL, where I still freelance as a political analyst. I was coming in and listening to you, and congratulations, 2017 to now. That's quite a feat to still, be standing on your feet. You were giving, what has happened to you over the years, the stages you've gone through, and all of that, and you portrayed the image of a network that is constantly developing and giving exposure to individuals, and then wanting to leave you and go to other networks. And I'm wondering if you want to speculate a little bit more, what do you think is happening here? What is responsible for all these, transients, as you would describe them?
That's the nature of the business. In fact, if you have a soccer team, because I have one in Bannersville FC Juveniles, you're going to lose players. They're going to go to the opposing team. They're going to go to the team that you defeated or the team that defeated you. So it's part of the business. And in this landscape where propaganda sells, the one in Liberia we call the G's and the fries. So right now, somebody who is on a media platform and is insulting from A to Z, that person have a lot of following. There are some stations or some tabloid areas where, in fact, somebody can come to you and say, "Oh, that Victor man below, he was chatting with my wife. So I want you to here's $200. I want you to disgrace him." And they go on that station and talk what they know, what they don't know about you. And that generates a lot of views. And so that's what people like to watch. Anytime you have something factual, you have something sensible and very educative to say, sometimes you don't get many views. Just like somebody will tell you when they're in church, you say, "Oh, the people don't come to church, but they go to the stadium." Well, because entertainment sells. So anything you do for entertainment, it sells. So that's one aspect of it. So people will leave, and because of that, you get more views. So people that get views say, "Well, I'm going to leave the one that has 100 views. I'm going to go to 500 views." so that people will see me. Some say, well, this other channel is closer to government. So when I appear on this channel, I'm going to be closer to government and I may be able to get something in government. Or this political party has this platform and this political party is poised to win. So I can join this platform, get to know the people, and time to divide things at the end, I can also benefit. And so all kinds of reasons, or sometimes, yes, the network has grown and I don't feel that I have that space anymore. I used to come on every day, but now I'm coming on 3 days. So I want to go somewhere where I will be there every day. So all kinds of things are happening.
Right.
I learned from your boss, Mr. Cummings,
Right.
when we were in Atlanta here operating Lama.
Right.
And as our secretary of the association, and we started losing men. People were resigning. There was too much confusion. And we were kind of discouraged. And he told my president, Mr. Leo Momba, at that time, he said, keep it moving. This is the nature of corporate America. People will leave, people will come in, keep it moving. And so I learned that very well. Every time I have that, we keep it moving.
Right. So I understand that nature of the business, and I get it. And you indicated you seem to be at the departure end, sending of. Are you at times on the reception end as well? Do you have people coming to you from other institutions?
Yes, and sometimes I describe it, and maybe it's not the best way to describe things, but what we're doing, a lot of people, there are two groups are on the internet, the people that throw the internet here and there, and then you have this authentic group that when they want information, they know where to go. So sometimes we have that, and I give an example. I said, well, what you see is sometimes you have a guy or a girl in the community who easy to say yes. You got this guy, he's all over the place. Yes, people like him because he's handsome, or people like her because she's beautiful. But now when you are ready to make decision for marriage, normally you don't go to that person. You will want to go to somebody because you already know. So what happens is people will do all these things, but then when they're ready to look for credible information, when there's something that is out there and everybody responding with emotion, they say, let me go to focus on Liberia because they have some experts that I want to listen to get it. If I get it from Focus on Liberia now, I can go on any channel to be able to really explain it. So I have gotten some people who say, yes, I'm on the network, but it's not really structured. I want to learn. I want to be able to, because when we started, and I try to get people, because we're getting the image of, you got to have PhD before you be on Focus on Liberia. Right, that was something that I was getting. So we have to kind of try to say, okay, let's have some show. So some people feel that, maybe I'm not educated enough to be on Focus on Liberia, or I'm not knowledgeable enough because look at Nabe, look at this other person. So when you relax that, they come in and then they feel validated. They feel that, if I can be on Focus on Liberia, then I think I'm good. So yes, we've gotten some people from that point of view.
Thank you. Can I just spin up for 1 second?
Yeah.
Thank you. I know you said we're not having
15 more minutes here. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. And thank you again, Dennis. Let me ask you this. 7 years going in, what has given you the most grief and what has given you the most pleasure in doing what you do?
The most grief is like we said before, the population, right? Like sometimes it's hard to see that you are doing your best. You are presenting something factual. You are balanced, and people say, "Oh well, yeah, we sometimes it's difficult to accept that people have turned away from. I don't want to say the truth. And they just want to go. I mean, somebody who is not doing well, who is talking complete nonsense, and that's the person you want to listen to, and that's the person our children are listening to, and that's the person, even the government, the power that be is directing people in that direction. That can be very painful because we grew up in a place where education was like the key, where speaking the truth was desirable, where community work, you must do your part, you must wait for your turn, and then somebody come in and say, oh no. I mean, and one of the things that I said, I was a teenager when the war came. And when teenagers were being conscripted teenager was being forced, and it was very attractive to pick up the gun and loot and polish and get whatever you want. Some of us said, no, we can't do that. I remember when they burst into a poultry farm in Bannersville, the chicken were all over the place. And do you know what? Some of us would say, we're not going to eat this chicken because it's not ours, even though we're hungry. But at the end of the war, what happened? Those who polished, those who destroyed, those who raped, those who maimed, became the money makers. And in fact, they used their money and got in government. And we start to bow down and worship if you want to eat. So these things are very painful to watch. That, oh, so you're telling me that good does not pay anymore? And the power that be is directing people to what is bad. In fact, if you can do something better, government does not even hire you. They look for somebody who sings their praises, even though they know that person is a square peg in a round hole. So if you see that in the news, it really saddens me. But the joy is somebody will call and say, I like what you do. Keep it up. This is where, and I see thousands and thousands of people who never appear in the news feed, not knowing they've been watching since 2017. And an old man who was our controller when we were teaching in Guinea called one time and said, oh, Dennis, I like what you do. And this old man, he suffered stroke now. He's not. And he was telling me, so I called his son-in-law. I said, the papa, I know the papa just want to praise me because, he knew me as a very, as a teenager. He said, no, the old man watches every episode. He said, when I come, he will brief me. And something like that warms my heart.
Thank
and
you.
It makes me to keep going.
Thank you. Let me welcome our CEO, King George the First. How you doing there, Chief? Welcome.
Good to see Mr. Ja. Thank you so much. When we left Spoon, Mr. Ja was one of the first person that gave us his platform for hear our side of the story, and we always appreciate him for that. That day, he had the entire country. The whole Facebook was just everybody was glued to the radio and the TV, whatever the case, to listen to our side of the story. We always appreciate him for that, recognize him for that. So thank you, and also
thank you
for the work you do at Focus on Liberia. You have been one of the pillars of our media platform, and thank you and your team. And you guys continue to do a good job. And I wish one of these days we can have, they do something they do in America. We have a little joint thing, and we just tackle the issues in Liberia. Like a joint show. We just tackle the issues in Liberia, discussing what happened in Liberia. So good, because many people don't know. Many people watch our show all the time. Like for instance, let me share this with you. This morning, I was about to go to work, and I had my phone in my bag, and then I listened. Then the phone started to ring. The phone said, "Call from His Excellency President George Nyenwolo." I said, one of the phone talking reality. And so what? The phone rang 3 times. When I pick up the phone person on the phone. I said, oh, I was shocked. I was shocked. And he said, I watch your show. I watch your show all the time. I said, wow. So, sometimes we sit there. We don't know people watch our show. A lot of people watch our show, and people. So when you're watching the show, sometimes you don't put you want your need to be seen, so you can watch the show quietly. Some people do that all the time, and
So the president get your number. That's good.
There's a founding member of CDC. What you expect? But
the thing is that I tell them about it, right? That's why when come on this show, gotta be very, very, because who watching you from around the world. So now you go places, right? You travel some places. Somebody say, "I know you from TCA, know you from Spoon, I know you from this place, in that place," just like that. For Focus on Liberia, so you gotta be very mindful who watching you, because now when you go places now, like I went to the tailor shop in Liberia, I disguised myself, because the man said if you go here, the people find you from the States here, they will charge you heavy money. When I did myself in the corner, the man measured me, taking my measurement, he charged me the real price. By the time all guys spam me, he said, that guy looks somebody I know. When the guy said the thing, the man said, wait, came by here, he said, that gave me different prices. I said, I beg you, yeah. I said, you tell you, so you gotta be mindful. But again, I said thank you and welcome to Mr. Ja. Thank you, big boss. Thank you, and Mr. Nangwe.
I want to say this: when
You for Truth Inc.
Yeah,
Yes,
when
go find that.
when the subject came up, I called the CEO. I said, I want to reach out to all the other CEOs so they can come on and discuss how this thing is going to affect all of us, where the government decide to monopolize everything. And the first thing Honorable George told me was, sorry if I call you Honorable George, the first thing Chief Tomalin told me was, go ahead, call Dennis, let's see, because this thing is going, we all got to deal with it collectively or individually. Either way you look at it, we have to support each other in this because these guys are serious about closing everybody out. So for those of you out there who think that these people are competitors and they fight each other, that's not the case with Tomalin George. When I brought it up, he was the first to say, go ahead, if you can reach out to Spoon, I will find it difficult. He's going to come here, but reach out to everybody. So I want to take off my hat to Honorable George for actually being open, and Mr. Jah for being open to come on here, because most people don't like to do that, as though we are in a fight. Now, if we are all fighting one enemy, how could we do that when we all over the place? So it's an honor to have two CEOs in one spot. Can you imagine what it takes to have both of you in one shot? And like Honorable George said, at some point, if we were to have you, him, and all the other media houses collectively, on the round table addressing the issue, that would be powerful.
Mr. Gamer, we tried to do that. And I think when Tomalin and the rest were with Spoon, two things, right, that we proposed. The first one was, election is coming. We don't have our politicians having a debate. So why can't we get together and interview them, let them debate? We have two things that are working for us. We already have the people and the idea to do this. You have a very large, audience. So let's come together. The CEO say, yes, go ahead, write the proposal. And we wrote the proposal. This is what we need to do so that we can invite these people to a platform and interview them. And since you have access to them and we have, people here that know how to do it, let's come together. Well, that didn't work out because we didn't get a response. Another thing that we attempted to do was, every time we have a politician or a government official come to America, what we see is if you are CDC, you go to a CDC leaning platform. It was like Samuel Tuer will go to Randy Dapo or go to Jide Hartog, this other person. So I said, what we can do is have a press conference style, right? We come together, these guys come, instead of having town hall meeting in localities, we can bring them online and we have people accredited to ask them questions. We pushed that, it didn't work. One time we did it, but I didn't get the people I wanted, but I still have a few people. When we interview then candidate Kehleboe Gongloe, it was the only time. So these things work. And we have been proposing in the background to people so that we can collaborate on some of these things. Because one enemy, if Liberians, we can agree, we have one enemy, as President Tobo said, ignorance, disease, those kind of things, right? If we want to combat this thing, now we have the government, the almighty government say, well, I'm going to have my own station. We are not going to go on your station anymore. We're going to do our own thing. So the only way we can fight these people and fight what is going to maybe dampen what we are doing is when we come together and present a side that will question the credibility of the newsmakers becoming the news reporters. Because Pantimia will never say their own body is rotting. We know that.
Excellent. We got 5 minutes left in this particular episode, but let me read this to you, because Mr. George is a sports fanatic. So this particular subject came out and is written by one Dr. Musa Dukle in the Liberian Investigator. Say, who owned the Myean Barrow? A call for equity ownership and club reform. And I will read the excerpts here. Myean Barrow, once Liberia's more iconic football club and the pillar of unity, now suffers from financial instability, ownership uncertainty, and ultimately relegation from Liberia top division. At the heart of this crisis lies a critically unresolved question that have persisted for many years. Who really owns Mighty Barrow? Not even the Liberia Football Association knows who owns Mighty Barrow, and the question lingers. The motivation behind this commentary is not to let the institution that once brought unity, pride, and joy to an entire nation to perish in silence as Mighty Barrow has been relegated, and it looks like if it continues, there may be no more Mighty Barrow. It may be a legend. So, Honorable George, this is a critical question and a big article. Later on, we all can read it and opine. But when you were growing up, when I was growing up, it were three things in Liberia: Mighty Barrow, the Invincible 11, and then everybody make it up to the Lone Star. So what they are saying now, legally, there is no platform in Liberia, no way you can go to tell you who actually owns Mighty Barrow, what is their financial structure, who financing them, how they report their financing. There is no control, central control, and the club is dying.
You know, it was sad to know that Barrow and IE, where they have reached today, it's a pity that, and mind you, all those who watching the European leagues, they're all fans of Mighty Barrow because you, like you said, growing up, you either a fan of Barrow or a fan of IE. Okay, we had St. Joseph Warriors, we have Great Barman, Cedar, but there was other clubs, but they were just any people in the middle, but the people that had a fan base were Barrow and IE. And today, all those involved in European league, watching the league, are all Barrow and IE fans. And you will know, but like right now, the Barrow just ended the league. They got relegated. In fact, how they were doing it was like they have a game today. They said they will come out and say the budget is $350. The members in the diaspora in Liberia, they'll say, okay, I paid $25, $10. I had Barrow went through the league, the whole league. They had it went through, and just like that, they had another thing. They said adapt a player. Somebody will say, well, I will adapt a Sidiki Fofana, my own player. I will sponsor him in the league the whole year. I will buy his boots and pay him. That's how they've been running the teams. And like you said, Barrow, and then Sidiki asked a question on Sunday. Somebody asked a question, whether Barrow owned Barrow owned any property? No. They have, and the leadership from the past just allowed the team to just go down the drain. And, you know, and back in the day, you have people in government that was involved with the two teams, and they had all these big people involved, but they didn't have the vision to look ahead to make the team sustainable. So for what happened today, so until somebody can take upon that road to say, look, let's get our Barrow back together and start to reorganize this club. And right now, anybody can. If I have money, I'll tell you, okay, I want to take over Barrow, and they won't stop me. Since the war, I was 10 president. One time was what his name? The president that this guy, Alex Tyler. At one point they had what the guy named Kanga, Gamon Kanga. At one point they had different people have been president. They just to keep the team going. And so until we can come to that point where the Barrow from the past can come together and say, look, let's see how best we can reunite Barrow and give them some life. I'm afraid that Barrow will just continue to go down. Today, I and Barrow are second division teams. So when you ask who the champion of Liberian football, FC Hausa, you ask what I think coming from. But that's what happening today. So it's just sad. So right now, Barrow ownership is unknown right now. Nobody knows who Barrow right now.
Wow. Mr. Fofana.
Yeah.
Here we had it says here, a crisis, Barrow suffered from the crisis of identity, structural and financial weakness, and then he put forth the way forward. And it says here, the Mighty Barrow is more than just a football club. It is a national symbol, one that has historically united Liberia across tribes and religions. Yet today it is managed without a strong legal framework, without a workable business model, and with no formalized financial structure and foresight. A one vibrant youth system is non-existent, and its fan base is disillusioned. Here we are, a club that was once vibrant in our days. When they actually peel the peeling from the onion, you find out it has no financial statement, it has no structure, it has no legal identity, it has nothing. It was just in name. It's about to die. And this man is saying it has crisis of identity, weak financial structure. And then he says the best way to do it is to bring in financial legal people to do it in a way where they will sell shares. And he said the Basel people should take the lead because they have more vested interest than anybody else. Your take.
First of all, the challenges he highlighted, in my view, is a reflection of the general challenges of the country. The way we operate, not just in sports, but in many other areas of our heritage, suggests sometimes whether we are facing identity crisis. If you went to the health sector, of course, you see almost the same thing. You go to the educational sector of our country, technically it's almost in the same room. So it is with also other social service delivery. And so, I mean, his analysis, in my view, is true. It goes beyond just Baru. It reflects everything, particularly sports in general. Do you know that sometimes the national team of the country, when it's playing a game, people will barely go to provide even a moral support? There is a complete decline in those things we once held dear, those things that were symbol of national pride and connection. People wouldn't go. So, and of course, his approach, his innovative approach in terms of providing share. I mean, creating share. I think that's something that is good for people to own ownership of. I mean, along the line, everybody knew that Baru, for some reason, was connected at least predominantly to the Basel tribe, and if they came up to own share and revitalize the team, reinvest, it will be a good thing. But can that team sustain itself in a league that is very poor, that barely will raise substantial financial upkeep? Because when you create a business model for Baru, you needed to also sustain itself in a business environment. And so it's not there. And so I think gradually, board charts, I was asking Tomalin if he could find board charts to invite. He proposed a bill to the national legislature called the sports tax bill, or something that will help to raise funding so that it goes into sports development around the country, particularly, I'm sure, football. I think we can solve the Baru problem also, but we need to generally solve the sporting problem to create something where Liberians again will find interest in their sport. We always use the say Liberians love sport, but to what extent do they love sport, particularly national sports situation? You have to go to watch the European League and all of those things, but we don't see that same tourism there, even though we sometimes see it in a county meet. So there is a whole lot that requires people to sit down and analyze what needs to happen. While we solve the Baru problem, we need to be able to solve the entire sports and football problem to regain that interest.
Thank you. Mr. John, I know you got to go, but this is what he said here. He says what he putting forward is not unprecedented. In Kenya, the Luo tribe mobilized around the Guar Mahai. In Ghana, the Ashanti Kingdom underpins Ashanti Kotoko. And that's how it goes. And it says here, in Egypt, Ahali operate as a national trust with broad-based community buy-in. So here he is saying the models are, there's a plethora of models around Africa that you could use, especially Ashanti Kotoko, where the folks, and then Egypt, where these people now have begun, the public is now the owners. They buy shares, they sell shares, they raise money, they support the team, and they get dividend. Your take. You are muted. You are muted.
He said we should tribalize the teams.
No, but he gave you different models where the people develop, because even if you tribalize it and you have a trust, right?
Yeah, I'm coming to that, because when I learned, hey, let the Bassa people take the lead, I would say that's nonsense because we've done this too much. Our counties, we say, tribe. Well, we the global people, we feel marginalized in everyone, so we're taking our own county. We the Bella people, we Lofa doing it with all that nonsense. We shouldn't do things on tribal basis. But I want to, piggyback on Sidiki's point that when you say it is relegated or, sustainable, what in Liberia is not relegated? When you look at the University of Liberia, right? I mean, the building itself is like we have come from college now to a super high school. If you look at JFK, relegated. If you look at even in my own hometown, when I said in that town, we used to eat book like Kanyan, relegated. All the kids now, they are in the mines. They rather go in the mines to get gold than go to school. Okay, our health system down. In Monrovia, I was on the phone and someone was telling their friend, oh, please go there and go get fire. I mean, I did that in Dodweken over 40 years ago. You go to the neighbor house to get fire to light your own fire, and you're doing it in Monrovia in 2025. So what in Liberia is now relegated? Okay, you talk of Barrow. What we learned is the sustainability plan. A famous Barrow player I met recently was telling me, he said, I don't watch sports even these days because what they did to us. He said, you want to tell me when we were playing, Barrow or I didn't even have a field to practice on. We'll either go to airfield, find somewhere, or go to this place, find somewhere. He said, you want to tell me the people couldn't even build us a place for us to practice? So we never put in any sustainability plan. I saw a video on, say, oh, look at the Invisible Park. It's getting ruined, it's getting bad, because there's no sustainability plan. When President they call it WIA project, is it government project? Is it something that the Ministry of Sports will take over? What is it? Okay, what is Barrow? Who owns it even before? Now we still turn to politicians. I heard Tomalin was talking about Alex Dollar because now we have this mentality where we don't take ownership even in our political parties. In our churches, the ownership is in America. If you have a church that does not have headquarters in America to pump in money, it's no church. If you have a political party and you don't have a millionaire or a money person or a Father Christmas to keep it moving yourself, you don't pay dues. So there's nothing there going. So if the sport is very bad, if I finish watching Barcelona and they playing the soccer, just like my own team, FC Juvenile used to play in Banasville. If I finish watching Barcelona, then I go watch some amateur them playing, they miss the ball, don't miss the man. Why doing that? So I'm not going to watch it. So I don't blame Liberians if they are not watching the sport because it's not good enough and they are watching something else because that's entertainment. If you want entertainment, you look for the best, right? So as Siddiqui said, this is a reflection of a bigger problem. How do we organize these things? Now everything is turned to politicians to do it. No matter how much bill, ball charts, and the other put in place, corruption eats away everything. If we have a pile of $10 million and government, the top 2% is taking $8 million of that money. If you put in 200 billion, what's going to change? Corruption has eaten everything away. We tend not to build anything. People are stealing the money. So you can't carry a basket to draw water. You think you're going to bring any water home. That is not possible. So unless we plug those holes and stop the stealing, unless we start to hire people that can do the job and not those who swam in the poo-poo water with us, we can't have the result that we're looking for. No, it's not going to happen.
Thank you.
Can I ask Mr. Jah to weigh on something quick before you leave?
Mm-hmm.
Jah, I saw a video, yesterday. I saw a video this morning when Liberia were elected at the Security Council yesterday. I mean, there was jubilation and thing. But I saw a video with my good friend, Senator DeLon. He was throwing money out and throwing money out. And I had a problem with it, especially in the midst of the poverty in Liberia. In the great United States of America, you won't be playing with Liberian dollar, you're throwing Liberian US dollar and a US dollar 2020 bill. Even though Liberia won the seat, we all are happy for that. I'm happy, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overjoyed. But people reached out to me and said, "Somebody, look at the video. What you thought about it? What are your thoughts about this video? Taking money and celebrating." I mean, I don't know. I have a problem with it, and I reached out to him to tell him how I feel about that. And but what are your thoughts about that? About looking at a senator splashing money on people, and then back home people we cannot afford a dialysis machine. Dialysis machine is a problem like right now. I just got a report today that we should discuss it. People now, the problem now, people are begging to take their relatives to Sierra Leone for dialysis treatment. Wow, machines there is giving problems. So what are your thoughts about that?
Mr. Judge, when was the last time you threw money at people, just like that?
Go for it.
Because you work, right?
Yeah.
But people in Liberia, like Senator Dillon, I mean, I don't know why you are surprised, because if you follow Senator Dillon from coming in as the light started going dimmer and dimmer.
Let me interrupt you quickly, right? The reason why I'm surprised, you don't have a man, there's not somebody who can easily release Ma. And when I somebody told me, said, Tomalin, the poor guy, now the kind of money people play with, and most of our friends left to go to New York. Most of our friends that live in the States were there. I saw most of them there. If you would give that kind of money, flashing money, that means you know the kind of money they play with.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, from scratch car alone, you can do that. Or from the electricity, right? There's a bill that say even when we die, continue to pay us. Meanwhile, they didn't pay into any pension fund like 401k or anything. But they make money here that even when they die, they are still entitled to husband, husgirl, coke, and all that. So there is too much money that these people have that they don't work for. Okay, for you here to qualify for 2 weeks vacation, do you know how long you have to stay with your company?
I know.
These guys start work the next day, they have 3 months vacation. In fact, the senator, representative, they go to work twice a week, and the rest of the time, they spend it. So they have money. If you have a car, you bought a car for the 5,000 or more, after 3 years, they give you a new car. That old car, you sell it to yourself, and you can value it, because according to the government, depreciation rate is now worthless. So you can buy $2. You yourself can buy it from yourself. So that car alone, I mean, my car that I 2022 car, I still driving it. I'm not even going halfway paying the note for it, right? So the people have a lot of money. And, concerning the UN seat, again, like I said, when corruption eats away anything, even when you put 10 of us on that non-permanent, even all the 10 members, if that only Labrante, all 10 seats, not much going to change. Because let's say what people are saying is, hey, now we are at the table. So if United States for us want us to vote their way, they will give us something. If China want us to vote their way, they will give us something. So that's the hope, that we're going to get money. But even if we get $2 billion from there, and all that $2 billion go into gas slip, it goes into, so what good is it? So unless we plug the holes, our healthcare is broken, justice system is non-existent, educational is a mess, everything there, we have corruption. So even if you give us 10 seats on that Security Council, what are we going to do with it? It goes the same route. People, when we get up, we say, okay, let's investigate this person, they stole money. At the end of the day, I think the newest report is about my own Sino-man, Grisby, and it said this how much money they take, right? What is that going to do? People take the money, they use the money, and that's it. And we too, we don't hold them accountable, because we believe that they're going to share that money with us. So yes, Dillon is right to divide money, because they have a lot of money to throw around that the country give them free. So legally, they are robbing the country legally, and that's okay. And we don't find a problem with that.
Yeah, but
we are not angry about that.
Mr. Jar,
sorry, I beg you. I want a last one. But Mr. Jar, what bothers me is that, what are we doing about these things that are happening? I mean,
exactly. We are not angry.
For the next, we're not angry.
No.
I'm going to sit down for the next 4 years and let the things that happen, because it's a blatant. They are doing it with, they don't care, to the extent that the people have been going to say, well, we have our own platform. We recognize the president of Liberia. We do our own stuff. We interview each other. We praise each other, and will just do it without blaming disregard for the people, and nobody just can do nothing about it. Because
we don't do anything, Tomalin, we don't do anything because we will be the next, right? So the only time, like most of the time, we criticize the government people, right? We criticize them, but we criticize the legislature only when that's not our friend. Okay, no matter how you criticize somebody, but you still invite them to speak to us. They will complain these people are corrupt, but if you have a program in America now, I saw Unico, thank God Kehleboe is here. Unico just brought some of their lawmakers to America to grace the occasion. When Eula, we knew the problem that Funati was having, Eula brought Funati, say, come and advise us. So we complain about these people that they are corrupt, they are stealing money. But when we are looking for people to be our role models, when we have a program, we want people to advise us how to manage money, how to be fair, how to be transparent. We invite them to talk to us.
Great. I got a question. Someone want to say something here. Hold on. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm Sylvester Pewee. I'm listening to our guest, Mr. Howard, and he's giving some basic information that I've tried to intervene and give some application here. I don't want to say he's misinforming, but what he said about the retirement package law passed by the legislature back home, even when they are dead, that is totally unfounded. That is a misinformation. It's not correct. There's no law to pay any lawmaker in the world after their demise. Absolutely no law.
No.
The law that exists in the country is to give them. It's not that much even. It's around $800, $900 or $1,000 they're going to receive from our lawmakers. Now, you go to section 2 times a week, which is Tuesday and Thursday. There are committee meetings on Wednesday, sometimes Thursday, and other meetings. So, no, listen, it is important that we.
But the quality is
to send the information out there. They do have section days, and the section days where they go to deliberate on national issues. They have committee meetings. The lawmakers operate via major committees, right? So honestly, I do disagree with most of the ground floor in the country, but I would not set out misinformation under the basic ground on the criticize. So we hope that most of our guests, that are coming on the show, they should come with total information that they will give out there, that will, because they will give misinformation sometimes over the public, will not take us seriously. So I just want to call on Mr. Jah that the information that they just sit and do nothing, that is incorrect or it's totally inaccurate. So I just wanted to provide some of this information as we unfold move to the program. So it is important that we all frustrated that nothing is happening in the country, granted, but on the side of it that we should not also demand the deep frustration and give our own side of the misinformation. So I did thought to give this clarification. Guess why he's on the show.
Thank you.
I will still hold on a little bit if there's any other thing that anyone want to counter also. But I thought to just do this information.
Thank you. Mr. Jah, he has problem with us saying, I guess the comment was that they made law to protect themselves, that even when they die, they get benefit. I think, can you elaborate a little bit?
Oh, so he said there was no bill like that?
Yes.
I can also help though.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gongloe.
The law Pewee. There's a sign in the background.
Yes.
Mute Pewee.
Go ahead.
The law Pewee is speaking to. That I think they have two versions of that bill. I don't know which one he's speaking to. They passed that law. I agree compared to how much they make currently when they are current lawmakers, and what they consider as retirement or whatever is small in terms of taking the proportion of it. But that money they make when they die, it actually go also to their surviving widow or whatever. It's not just, it doesn't stop right there. So I think it's also accurate to say, even when I die, their dependents continue to benefit from it. It's accurate to say it's in the law. Let people Google and put the law there, because there are two versions of that. You know, let people. I can argue with people on that, and I will end on this also. You see, when Mr. Jah argued that they don't work, you know, the quality of work that people do compared to how much they make, one can, you know, qualitatively agree that they don't really work, because in terms of what they take in and what they put in are not at equilibrium. So I can argue it's subjective. It's a subjective opinion here.
And I said they go to work 2 days a week.
Of course, that's the one. That is the work roll calls are taken. That's the one is accounted for. The committee work, you can even have somebody from your office, your COS or your technical person can represent you even in that committee work, because it's a committee work.
Mr. Jah.
And to add to that, all these things, if he can point to me publicly, I mean, these things are all done in secret, right? Does he have a website? Does he have bills that we can look at that, you know, where are these things documented? So every time he will be there to come and say, oh, no, this is what we do. Go ahead. You had a question.
Okay. What I'm saying here, the lawmakers are taking 2-3 months off, right?
Right.
Are they working? Are they getting paid? How does that work? Do they still get paid?
They do. And even when they are not working, they only at recess. When they say they're taking agricultural break, I try to call my senator, my representative, district number 2, Samuel County. You can't even get them. When there was this impasse in the House, did you see the representative go into their constituencies and say, hey, this is what we do, and then advise on what to do? Did you see that? You will not see that. They don't even consult anybody, it's just them, right? Number 2, the agriculture break they're supposed to take to go back home, what they do? They go to the Mall of America. And I hope Mr. Pewee will be on ground every time they say something for him to come and counter, but it will be best if those things, if you can point us somewhere and say, hey, this is the roll call, these are the bills, these are the things that we've done. And you say committee meetings. What does that do? You go to the committee meeting, what's the result? And most of the time, our work is not outcome based. What is it like? I watched a guy who was appointed. He said, "Oh, his accomplishment was he said I scored a hat trick because I was the only guy who was appointed 3 times by the same government." That's supposed to be his accomplishment. We are not doing this by outcome. This is what I've accomplished as a result of this. If you want to look for a job, don't tell us what you did, or you know, don't describe to us your job description from the previous job. Tell us what you have accomplished so that we can make us to hire you. That's what I want to see. I don't want Mr. Pewee coming and say, hey, we do that, we go to a meeting. As a result of the meeting, what happens?
Thank you.
I like how many people say they call it fefe, nothing, zero.
Thank you. Mr. John, your parting words. Thank you for
coming. I came here to ask you a question, even though I came late.
Well, if you can't, 2 hours late, we can read later.
But I'll make a quick comment before you make his parting comment.
Go ahead.
Now, I really don't have question for Mr. Jah. I just wanted to thank him for actually coming on closing argument, and I'm sorry. I'm sure I'm watching his point here. I wanted to commend him for coming on closing argument. Mr. Jah is one of the, I would say, in my opinion, without doubt, without argument, he's, for me, the best talk show host so far.
Since the fall of the Malay Empire.
Since 1847? What's about me, Ray? I'm right here. What are you talking about? I'm sitting right here. That's an insult.
Well, I think Dennis comes first and you come second.
You see, he's a politician. I told you, you can't pin these guys down.
But I give it to him. But you know, he struck some points, and I just wanted to make a quick comment in passing before he leaves. You know, he talked more on the legislature. I joined the show kind of late. I just came from work. But some of the issues he's raising fundamental issues. Those of who live in the developed world, and if you look at the guys, they talk about development. In the United States, I don't know how many times our politicians in the United States use the word development. Development is like a catchword that politicians use maybe 1,000 times every month in third world countries, in developing countries, because that is what they catch the people with. But if you look at the history of and the concept of that is, like Karl Marx said in one of his writing, he said basically the developed world is showing the third world or the developing world the future, how they will look if they follow certain programmatic interventions. This is how they will look. But we in developing countries, we can't follow that. So if you look at our legislature and we look at those who live here, like Mr. Jas said, we criticize all the bad behaviors. But what do? We send for the very people who criticize to come here to give us, I don't know what better description I can use, to validate our program. Our program, government official attended. Okay? And on many of the platforms, people are fighting on how government officials come on the platform. I'm actually opposed to that. That actually, as much as these guys are doing, we should just talk about the bad thing they are doing without wanting them to come on our platform. We should just educate the public. Let the public know that these people are actually bad for the country. Let's take, for example, my own county. There are videos to that I can share in the chat room. When Jeremiah Kun became senator in 2020, the first trip was Yikepa, and many of you some of you probably watched it. He was criticizing ArcelorMittal for having continued. He even went to Yikepa Hospital and said, "This is a hospital I was born. Look at how the hospital looking like. And now I'm going to fight to change his situation." Has he? He cannot. He cannot, because there are reliable rumors about his involvement with ArcelorMittal in terms of renting trucks to the company. And there are many of them in the legislators who are conflicted with these concessionaires, right? So they cannot really take action on them. If you look at even the MDA for Nimba, it's a small money compared to what ArcelorMittal takes out of the country. But ArcelorMittal, by the end of the 25 years of the concession, they will have paid more than $60 million to Nimba. If you could take a survey, the impact assessment on that $60 million on the community, the $60 million has made more impact in the lives of politicians, the caucus members, than the affected communities, than the country itself. And it's not difficult to find this data, because you just go to Ministry of Finance data and see the payment disbursement from Ministry of Finance to Nimba to Bond to Grand Basso and see. In the case of Nimba, that's more than $60 million in 25 years. Okay, so let's look ahead. And Dennis is right. What do? Town hall comes, we flock to the town hall. If we don't even resist, if politicians come and say, "Okay, you know what, we're going to run away from that town hall," because you know what, they want to talk to us here, but they're now holding the town hall in Sando or in Grand Basso, where they were elected as senators and representatives. They have not held one town hall with the people to report to them, but they come here to us and say, "Can't hear from us." Then we rush to them. We buy soft drink because it's easy to buy soft drink. It's easy to get snack. These foods are very cheap here. We go and laugh with them.
Absolutely.
And I think Dennis struck a very important point.
Thank you.
That this closing argument, we should run away from government officials.
No, I didn't say you shouldn't call them here. You got to call them to talk to them.
No. You see, when we're talking to them, they basically lie.
Mr. Kehleboe, it's clear. Mr. Jai, your parting comment, please.
Well, I want to thank you all for inviting me here. I see I see most of my folks here, so I feel that I'm home, you know. But you should stay long here now.
I'm coming
You're
back.
come home.
Correct.
But I want to mention that disagreement is not, you know, it doesn't mean we can disagree, but still we can run a country. Anytime you disagree with someone, they label you. If you disagree with government, they say, oh, you hate Unity Party. You disagree with CDC, you hate CDC. Or you are government. I mean, there was a big woman in Liberia that we're trying to get grant for the Liberian History Channel, where we teach history, the history that has never been taught anywhere in Liberia. That's what we do. And we will try to get a grant from her organization. They say, oh, FOL is political, so we can't do it. I said, but what does that even mean? So as long as you present the fact people disagree with you, they see you as an enemy. We need to stop that. As I said, there are fundamental things in Liberia that we need to take care of. As long as these things are not taken care of, no matter what we do, we can get 13 seats on the UN Security Council. We can be the president of the world. That still is not going to change our situation. So we must do the basic thing we have to do. We should stop the stealing. We should employ people who can do the job. We should, you know, not support what is wrong just because we are friendly to the people. Disagreement will always happen, but there are many things that bind us together in Liberia than what divide us. For instance, we all love palm butter. Palm butter can be a glue that pulls us all together, but we sometimes focus on the things that are not important and that divide us for nothing. I'll give you an example. There was a certain church, in fact, a Baptist church that believed in the washing of feet. You know, you wash as Jesus washed the disciples' feet, you wash, you know, each other's feet in the church. And they were doing that for a long time. After some time, there was an argument as to which foot to wash first. Is it the left foot or the right foot? As if that is important. But that was a big argument. Based on that, they couldn't, some people say, yeah, let's do the right foot first. Some say, no, the left foot should be washed first. The argument continued unresolved. So you know what happened at the end of the day? They divided, they split into two. So the people that believed washing the left foot first became the left foot Baptist church. The one that believed the washing the right foot became the right foot Baptist church. Is that thing supposed to really divide people? We shouldn't. There are many things that bind us together as Liberians, so we should not focus on that. Let us also remember that we should always celebrate our best. You can't eat all the rooster in the town and expect to wake up early. And how the rooster supposed to crow for you to get up? Mm-hmm. So in Liberia, it looks like we're eating too many roosters. So if we do that, we're not going to get up. I want to thank you, and thanks for inviting me.
Thank you very much. Mr. George, can you send your guests away?
Well, let me just say, Dennis, we are through here. We didn't abandon. We're coming there. Okay. For me, I'm going to be on FOL this week.
Mr. George.
I want to say thank you again to Mr. Jai. We appreciate you all the time. And I want to say thank you for what you do for the people of Liberia every day. And you continue to be one of the pillars of this platform of social media, especially the platform. There's no talk show without mentioning focus on Liberia. You guys continue to do an incredible job. And like I said, I remember vividly when you really helped us when we left Spoon and people was bashing us, and you provided your platform for our story to be heard. And that was the day that we'll always remember, because we had an opportunity to visit Liberian people and tell them what happened, why we left at the time. And people had their own narrative, their own discussion, their own decision to make, and whatever they said. But today we feel proud that we are what we are today. We never give up. People say, look, you guys should not give up. You guys come up with your own platform, and today, here we are. Continue to grow every day. Try to be our best. And again, I respect you a lot and the platform. And we are open to always collaborate with you anytime. We are welcome. We are always in this discussion. But right now, people are, I think on Saturday, either Saturday or Sunday, I'll be hosting something. People are now arguing that some people are saying, what will Liberia benefit from being a member of the Security Council? Some people are saying, they say yes, Liberia benefit. Some are saying they won't benefit. So that debate is going on right now, and we are planning for it too. And so look forward to that. So Thank you again.
Anytime.
Thank you
Anytime.
very much, Mr.
God
John.
bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Always remember to be humble, because no matter how tall you are, you're not going to see tomorrow. Good night. God bless you.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, guys, we got some breaking news. Some on the local front. Ms. Jean Pierre, the famous White House press secretary, resigned today from the Democratic Party. She's now an independent. She left the Democratic Party. She's an independent. That is huge. On the second front,
Breaking news there for
yeah, that's a major one. The reason I said that, look at what's happening in Liberia, right? People are jumping from party to party. People are jumping from club to club. Here it is woman who was the spokesperson for the president. Today came out and said she's no longer a member of the Democratic Party. She's not going to be her own woman. She's going to be independent. On the flip side, my boy Elon Musk is now opposing President Trump to kill the bill, because he says the new budget is going to add $2 trillion to the deficit. Why am I bringing it up? Well, we're talking about political alliances, and I think Mr. Joe said it the last time. People who are your friends today, when their interests shift tomorrow, don't be surprised that they are on the other side. And you are seeing two major events here that is very similar to what's going on in Liberia. Let me go to Ahmed. Let me go to Victor. Victor, you have not spoken for a while. But these are two major events that are very, very similar to some of the things we see in Liberia.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. Corinne Jean-Pierre, I think she was already disaffected even when she was on the job. I think she really wanted the top job right on the onset of the Biden administration. But I think they give it to Jen Psaki, and so she had to play deputy for a while. So it didn't really seem she was comfortable in her skin. She had a very, very, I don't want to say combative relationship with the press, but I think she was very uncomfortable in that job. Now, that was a job. I mean, we're talking the whole democratic institution, so I don't know exactly what it is that is, driving her to becoming an independent. But I want to say I think she was a half and half, Democrat. Elon Musk and the Donald Trump show. I mean, Musk came in. I think he carved out whatever he needed to go to his corporation or whatever it is, paid $300 million for that. And I think he already got locked in. His SpaceX is already, locking up. I was just looking up, I forgot the figures again, but I think he's already locked into the government for the next couple of years. So I mean, all that other stuff there, that just flow show. The big beautiful bill, it will pass, Jerome. You know that. I heard Johnson, your boy from I think was Wisconsin, or where's he from?
Yes.
Ron Johnson, grandstanding. That Donald will call them in and rein them in. So that bill is gonna pass. It's not really. I don't know. It's breaking news to you, Jerome. You're a Republican, so you come in and glee and gloat over the Democrats apparently losing Corinne Jean-Pierre. So what do you say about Elon Musk?
Listen, the Democratic Party, just like CDC, you're falling apart. Let me go to Ahmed. Ahmed, I know the president is watching, the former president is watching, so I don't want to rub you guys the wrong way. But do you see any similarity here? After the party loses, everybody leaves and become independent or go somewhere else?
Why you want to put Ahmed's reality?
First of all, that should not be the basis by which you moderate the closing argument. The moderator of the closing argument should not be who watches or who doesn't. It should not be the basis of whether Musa Belete is the political leader or George Weah is a former tribal man or a tribal man. The moderation of the closing argument should be objective. But with regard to the issue you mentioned, I think Catherine Jean represent her argument represent the argument many of you are putting in terms of the tailing. In her mind, it's about time Americans look outside of the backs of the Republican and Democratic Party and vote basically on their conscience, on their morality and value, as opposed to simply voting on party line. That becomes her argument. But generally, when you compare, and then the Marx issue is on the basis that he thinks Trump is betraying, quote unquote, the initial reason for which he got elected in terms of the budget on it. So there is a fundamental difference with what is happening in these two cases to Liberia. At least these people are giving us ideological and value principle reasons compared to Liberia. People stretch from party to party on the basis of what they can give personally, not because of anything that has changed. Isn't because perhaps the Garguah government is providing new set of ideology or principle or leadership to the country that perhaps might have been fundamentally different from that of what the CDC did, and so you think you want to disassociate yourself with that. No, it's simply because the best way I can survive, or the only way I can survive, is when I now start praising Mr. Boyka, or if I now try to praising the Unity Party and become part of it. Unfortunately, that is the culture in Liberia. I would think it's different 100% from what is happening in the United States. Catherine believes that it's time that Americans vote outside of party line, because eventually parties line tend to provide the people with limited options. So if a candidate came on a Democratic ticket, so it was in her view, so it was with Kamala. She had thought that Biden was the right person, but Kamala came up on a ticket. She thought people voted for Kamala because she was just on a Democratic ticket, but maybe she couldn't deliver. So I think it's a different scenario in Liberia and America. At least in the minimum, the people reflect some value. They disagree on some. Elon Musk don't want a job from Trump. He doesn't want a paycheck. He disagree with Trump on the basis of some value and principle. Unlike Liberia, you see people switching over to Musk because they hope that they can get some jobs. So I think the two scenarios are not the same.
Good. Honorable George, Ahmed is making the case that in Liberia, this woman is asking for the third lane here, with no pun intended here. He is saying in Liberia, we do not change because of philosophical differences. We change because this is where the sun is shining and we want to hang our clothes there. I disagree, but what is your thought?
Mr. Gimman, honest, to be frank with you, Mr. Gimman, right now, American politics, right now for me, it will pick up steam next year during the midterm. Right now, for me, they didn't do sort of what they're trying to do. Democratic Party got to find out their bearing, how they're gonna get back to be a serious party. Maybe hopefully the midterm, the way I say Republicans are running away from town hall meetings right now. All the people, and then this big beautiful bill. Now I see it's fake. Most of them cannot even defend the bill. You can't be lying to your constituents, and then you tell them you go in Congress and voting for something else. You can't rely on them. You all know that they tamper with Medicaid and these people SNAP benefits, and these are things that and entitlement stuff for people. They're gonna pay for it. They're gonna see it. The American politicians that came here the last decades that have been here, how the politics go. They've been playing with it. Every time you play with it, I think only Biden was lucky. They all had a rare wave when he was president. But you saw what happened with Obama. He brought in Obamacare and he paid for it in the midterm. And Trump, too, with his tax cuts he's doing, with all these things he's doing, he's going to pay for it. So right now, I really not focus on them. Honestly, my whole focus on Liberia now, because Liberia is on my mind. If we cannot do the right thing in that country, I'm afraid. Especially so when our friends that are in power, they are looking at our faces and doing things to us. They don't care. They say, we care. We'll do what we want to do. We spend the money, we won't spend the money. We'll do what we want to do. And, in the face of all what's happening, that's what I'm very focused on right now. I'm thinking about it. How will we get for all of this? How will we navigate for the next 4 years? What will happen? And will this continue the next 4 years? What's going to happen? Because the way things are going, You talk to them, they didn't care. They tell you that. Like I asked one of them, I said, you go on your class, they interview each other. If somebody is doing wrong, like one of them called me yesterday or telling me about the mayor of Monrovia. I said, they start defending the guy. I said, now you see, this guy defending because you keep going on platform, you defend him, but he being accused of a lot of stuff. But now you're defending him. So you think Liberian people are stupid or listen to you guys all the time? Just let him go on another platform. Let him go to Spoon. Let him go to those closing argument. Focus on that, bro. Go somewhere and go and make your case. But you on your platform, you back the guy. That's what's happening. So, like Dennis said, we gotta get serious. We gotta be intentional. We gotta really come up and speak up, and present the facts to the people and make a contrast that.
Why you are that talking about that? The senator from Sano County, Senator Creighton Duncan, write plenary to summon and invite Firestone, Metal Steel, and BM Mountain to look at the actual infrastructure and, if possible, their contract. What do you think? Should we support such an attitude? I think during the election, people were talking about they were going to revisit the construction agreement. Is it leading towards that, or this another charade?
Well, I've not really been following that. I know what has caught my mind is this put. I'm hearing about the put. I'm hearing that they're trying to. I think there's a bill being proffered by Senators Dillon, I think Kanga, and I think Besonga, trying to ensure that the port of Buchanan is taken away from on the management of the Freeport. Freeport, and that's I tried to really find out what's going on. And somebody told me that they said, I think the VP he's aware of it. So I asked him, and I've not gotten a response from him yet. I want to find out what really happened about this port, because I know they're trying to make the port of Buchanan separated from the management of the MPA and so forth. And I think besides other ports in Liberia, they want to separate from the MPA. Honestly, that's why I'm really trying to find out right now. But that issue with Creighton Duncan, man, I really have not followed it, so I really don't know much about it.
Right, the bill you are talking about, the bill calls for the port of Buchanan, the port of Greenville, and the one in Hopper to be autonomous. 3 autonomous agencies now to be added into the government. That these ports will be operated locally by the county. And that's what they are fighting for, and they are calling on all the legislative caucus members from these counties to support this autonomous bill. So the 3 different ports can become totally autonomous to the MPA.
But Mr. Gimen, about that, it's all about politics. And these things are not driven by they really want to do any kind of transformation, because. Like for instance, when they put an MPA, right? When it came to the issue about this, how do you call the people, man? They tracking business.
Yes.
Some lawmakers that I know, I was told by one of the top officials in the government said they went to him and said, look, at what time CDC their person was getting their share, their person getting their share. At what time? So let's do the thing, put our own port there, prioritize this port, and get our own stuff there. So it's things they want to do. The guy who they appointed in Basel at the port of Buchanan, don't forget, he supported the rescue team and he lost the election, was a re-election. So they found him a job, port manager. Now they are there and they all want to have that control, to have people out of the port, management of the port. It's not like they want to transform the port. No. If they're serious for true, we'll see real invest in major port handlers in the world will come and say, well, we want to help to do business with the ports in Liberia, but these people just want to have their own people there so they can control and end of the day support the 2029 election bid. So really, I don't support that.
Mr. Namwe, I think the CEO is up to something here. I know we're running out of time, but real quick, this is not about transformation. We heard, like he said, the gentleman that's running the port in Buchanan is the former senator, the defeated senator for Grand Bassa County. They rewarded him because he supported the government. Jonathan Carpe, his name is. He's now the port manager there. and they like what's going, according to the CEO here, that these people are now trying to control these ports because it's a big money making thing locally, so it can become the cash cow for subsequent elections.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really have that much to on that. On the face of it, it would seem like a good idea to break this port up into a smaller entity and make it, make the smaller entity, more, nimble and efficient. But again, one has to wonder how much thought has been put into this. If it is to add, another layer to it, an already bloated government, then that would be a problem. But yes, I think it's one, put of Monrovia, the Freeport, rather, the manager sitting all the way in Monrovia and running port of Harper and running port of Greenville and port of Buchanan. It questions how efficiently, the ports are being managed. Again, I don't have the details on that. I hope, they will make the bill, public so that we can review it and understand what is happening. But, we all have talked about this whole revenue sharing thing, revenues generated from Hapo comes all the way to Monrovia before they send Hapo share of it back to Hapo. In the interim, you know what happens? Loss in translation or transportation or whatever it is. So if the local bills, if these local ports are, managed by the local people and they benefit local, there's a good chance they will do much better. But if it is for what Chief Tomalin is describing, then that's going to be a problem. But look, I think any government coming in reserves the right to call up any contract and review it. I mean, it's happening right here in Guinea. I think over 50 licenses have been suspended by the government in Guinea. To try and review these licenses. Some of the people who understand they buy large plots of land and just leave it unattended, speculating on the market. And when the price is red, they'll begin to mine these areas. In the meantime, the place is left undeveloped and it's just sitting there, but nobody can buy it, and that kind of thing. So yeah, if this government wants to review some of the contract with the intent of making the contract perform better for our people, I think it's a welcome development. It will be a welcome development. But I don't know what if that is why Senator Duncan is pushing.
We are running out of time. Kehleboe, 2 minutes on the you can speculate on that. Or our next subject, the Single Mother Association of Liberia campaign and call for increased support for single mothers. This one, I'm doing it specifically to put you guys in trouble. Single Mother Association of Liberia calling for more support. So if you have a baby, if you have a child, if you have a girlfriend, you got a child, they are telling you now they are gearing up. There's a bill they are asking for more support. Mr. Kehleboe Gongloe, do you support the single mothers of Liberia?
Well, as I suppose social cash transfer. Just like
what is that? What is that? You put all the BB term. What is that, man?
Social cash transfer program. It has been implemented in Liberia actually. In Bomi County, I believe, Cayman, Western Liberia is considered one of the poorest region. Actually, I think Riverside might be one of the counties. Those are very poor country. Or counties with less economic activities. So they experimented this social cash transfer program where it was successful, I think, in Bomi and some of the area in terms of the MAE documents that I have seen. Where they are targeting the vulnerable people and giving them some basic income and some skill to start a business, start some income generating activities. That is, it's not a bad program. That's something that can be done. You just need to have honest people with the skill to navigate that. But that said, I'd like to make comment quickly on the Duncan fiasco. The money thing in the MD, all of what is put there. People who have not taken time to actually go through the MDA, how it is structured. Every MDA has MAE units there, section. There is a section that deals with monitoring evaluation. And that is done annually. So there should be within the Ministry of Lands, Mines, and Energy, or probably outside, a group of people who monitor that. And that report should go to the legislature. They should actually say, hey, there should be M&E here monitoring the compliance to the different terms of the agreement. Let's call if you follow if the companies are in compliance. But to even say you want them to bring that document, they send a guy all the document. They don't need to. So the best way to do is, if I were a technical advisor to Duncan, I would say, I would write ArcelorMittal or these companies say, a Senate or a joint legislative committee will be visiting your facility on Suzo Deal, is having a 1-week tour of your facility. Go there and have your checklist in your hand. The MDA say you do this from this period to this period. Let's see it. You go inspect it. Why you call them to Monrovia for? Just for to grandstand and give false impression to the public that Senator Duncan cited ArcelorMittal. Then you put down a CV. I call ArcelorMittal to book. That's not calling company to book. Take a trip to Ikepa. Take a trip to Beer Mountain. Take a trip to Western Cluster. Take a trip or Liberty Guar, wherever you want to go. Take a trip there and ask them the question right there with a synopsis of what it's supposed to do in your hand and check. That's the way to do it. That is action prompt. But to do this, that's politics. It's the same thing we're talking. Liberians are small-minded, corrupt. Our public officials are small-minded. They are not honest. They are not committed to anything. But I want to end on this quickly. I know you said 2 minutes, but Tomalin and Ham Sifone was saying something about how people differ from political parties here and there. Tomalin should be concerned about what happens in the US and what happens in Liberia. Because you know what? We are a twin mother here. Donald Trump, when he have bad economic policy, it affects our pocketbooks, right? And in Liberia, when we have bad governance, it also affects our pocketbooks because we got to be sending money to people. Now, if you go to grocery shopping now, the prices are going up because of Donald Trump policy. Okay, it's affecting our pocketbook. It's affecting our pockets. We should talk about it. Is it a good policy or not? We should be concerned. But in Liberia, our politicians who are in power are the enabler of bad behavior because their goal is to have everybody come under them and say, so say one, so say all. Look, it is mind-boggling Victor, that everyone with power wants the country to sing hallelujah to them. They don't even want a disagreement. So they will even be trying to break into the other party and bring people from them to them, as opposed to saying, okay, I need to have a stronger opposition that can critique what I'm doing. The whole thing is, okay, look at Tomalin George of the CDC today. What does he say about we are? What does he say about other people? Because he's looking for John from Boaka. It is a bad thing that when we work.
So you saw Tomalin George resume, and what George he looking for now?
Oh, not Tomalin George, Amiwa, or Solomon George.
Oh, Solomon
did I
George.
say Tomalin George?
Yes, Tomalin
Oh,
George.
no. I'm sorry. I'll take that back. Tomalin and Kun Nick and just can't my mouth. Solomon George. I mean Solomon George.
Solomon George, okay.
He was saying, okay, FN, few weeks ago. And I monitor him. And I'm like, wow. Why you can just, President Boaka, the guy is looking frail. He can just give him job. You don't have to say, go and buy him off George to show how high you can hate him. Then I gave you the job. Just give him something. He's looking for something to survive. No?
Great. Thank you very much. Mr. Nambe, we have run out of time here. We got 14 minutes. Your closing, your last comment, your closing on this.
Well, I was coming in here and I saw Firestone. I don't know what it has to do with Washington Duncan, but they are suspending rubber purchase across the country simply because the government committee on rubber pricing is trying to peg the price of rubber to the international market, but they want to exclusively set the price of rubber and for our smallholder farmers. I'm still trying to understand the story. I don't know if you guys have seen that, But I really hope the government this time, will stand its ground and compete, and compel, fair pricing. Pfizer has been, has had pretty much the monopoly on price setting like bro for quite a long time. So yeah, I hope the government this time will insist on making sure that our people are made whole by Firestone.
But Victor, why did you read history? I like to understand that though, because
Yeah.
Firestone policy is willing buyer, willing seller. They don't go and force any rubber farmer and say you must sell to us. What has been happening in the market actually is that among other buyers, Firestone offers competitively on the market, a slight higher differential compared to other buyers. So people will go and buy on their own as a business and can sell to Firestone because for that little, map up, So I don't know if it has to do with Firestone own rubber that is shipping abroad or what is buying from local farmers.
This is in the New Republic.
I
New
read
Republic.
I read that and
Yeah.
I'm happy because I'm a small grower myself, and we began to tap first of this month, few days ago. So this will be in our interest because usually we sell to lot, and Mr. Gongloe is saying, there's a difference between the prices, and if the government can actually make that happen,
Yeah.
if this is not political, then it would be good for people who are small growers that we will get the same price, similar or very close to international standard. Because the rubber price a few years ago was close to $2,100 a ton, and it dropped to $300 a ton. And the last time I was there in January was $720. Can you imagine the variation from $2,100 to $300? Who does that? So if the government can,
Jerome, it's a hard sell on this one because in a competitive market is supplier and demand. So if Firestone got enough farm, they usually go out there to buy it because they want to have that volume to ship. But if you push them to buy higher, they can say, okay, for now, we'll just ship what we have.
Yeah, I think that's what they're threatening to do.
but that's what the government is saying.
Farmers will rush you and say, forget it, the government not in my interest, buy my rubber. Because they need it. They need the money.
Well, we're doing what the government is doing, that's fine. It will help the
So what government can do, if our advancing government, what I would do, we actually create a small cooperative or rubber farmers, and government help them to farm market like FNC used to do. Government can buy from them. That cooperative can buy from the farmer that price and then ship overseas. But whether corruption will not take over.
Hopefully that's gonna happen.
But is LPMC still in existence? Do they not?
No. They scrapped that out.
Okay.
They changed it to a regulatory authority.
Got you.
But let me ask a question, right? Is it possible for how to call it for instance, like what America doing right in China? Most of the American they care most of their work, their products in China to be manufactured in China. If Liberia decides to give us space to say, well, you'll build a factory to manufacture some stuff here, so that the prices can make prices low. Is that possible to build a factory like
Grand one space to who?
For example, right? I know my Sir Joseph is president, Senator Joseph is president in China. He sent me a video where the people took what is it, cassava. I watched the video. They took the cassava and it made cassava into rice, and the rice they made into healthy for those who are diabetic and so forth. And I watched the whole video. I said, what? So if this kind of planet was building Liberia, then imagine cassava farmers will bring they will buy the cassava from these farmers, and they will be able to turn the product into rice, and we can export rice and so forth. So is that a possibility that can happen, where people can come and say, because labor will be cheaper, it's cheaper to manufacture, to produce such a thing like Liberia than to produce it in America or other countries? Is that possible?
It's possible. To Tomalin, George, it's possible. Everything on earth is possible. Anything that other countries are doing.
Why people are not?
No. So Tomalin, it depends on a number of factors, right? China export rice to Liberia. I mean, so if you come to Liberia to produce rice, the market is right there. So that means you're going to be selling it. But again, you need to ask yourself a question. If local people know that this rice is coming from cassava, whether they will like it, we buy the rice because sometimes we don't even know how it's made, it's produced, right? We just, even here in the US, you go in the African store, you see that better rice, which is low on starch. Everybody buying it because they want to keep that body slim. They want to avoid getting fat. So they go and buy it. Maybe like you say, it's coming from cassava, not real organic rice, right? It's a processed thing. We don't know. Okay. But if people know that, oh, this thing is coming from cassava, no, that I want to eat real rice, organic. They will run away from it. You can't tell. Information is power. And it's possible, but you have to have also market asset. Would China be exporting it out of Liberia to other country at what cost?
No, but so I mean, like for instance, most of the American goods that come to this country, they are producing China right now, right? Most of it. That's why they tariff business with America and show them the tariffs. China really don't care. China said, "Well, do what you gotta do. We just stay right here." And at the end of the day, let's see who gonna bleak. And we see now that. I mean, Trump, 1 minute he bleak, 1 minute he'll come back, he play that game with them, right? But yeah,
so in the long run, America is a winner, China is a loser. In the long run, in the short run, America gets high. In the short run, many of these factories, most of the American companies.
You think they'll come out to America? You think they'll come out to America? That Trump go to bring them back to America?
Of course. They could come. They could come.
The cost of producing a cell phone in China is cheaper than producing a cell phone in America.
Oh yeah, but $25 an hour compared to $3 an hour.
Who's gonna be the winner? Right now, Christmas coming, right? The season coming, people coming. The prices of goods will go high in Walmart. Walmart CEO say we're not gonna come allow our business to go down. We can't put our prices up. And Trump got mad with the Walmart CEO.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our CEO is all. Our time is up. We ask our CEO, well, Mr. Sanvee have closed, Mr. Gongloe have closed. We're going to ask our CEO to announce if anything on the horizon, any particular guest that will be coming, or you want to announce a little, or you want to elaborate on our schedule now and the upcoming one.
Yeah, I think like
new title is CEO. All right.
And
you gotta put it there.
You gotta hype people up.
That's what I call him, man. Go ahead.
Big balls. That's you about. But no, but I think as I said, we came to the understanding that I think this week will be the last. But I think today we are up that we have up to we extend our time. But because of the storm in Liberia too, the storm heavy in Liberia, the guys have to leave the radio because the storm on a heavy storm in Liberia. If you don't take precaution, they can affect the tower and they can damage the tower. So, and Liberia, they're experiencing heavy storm in Liberia. So that's why we're not on the radio right now because of that. So, I will be on for some time yet. Some folks will join maybe because we still got time. Because,
okay, great.
Yeah, but yeah, this thing though, this guy is in the country and they reached out to us. They're trying to plan a show for the weekend. The guy they call CIC, the musician. Called CIC.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants to come on our show on the weekend to talk about his story in America. Working on modality with them. I know Myean put a picture up. He sent me this stuff. But the guy, the musician called CIC, and who in the music business, he will be coming. Yeah, so he'll be coming. So working on, he'll be appear on the closing argument this weekend somehow, and also hopefully. Those who maybe some people want to join, there are people who saying Liberia will not benefit from the UN Security Council seat. Some people are saying they will. So that debate will be on maybe this weekend too. There will be a debate.
That's a useless debate to have.
Yeah, some people are saying that they're asking what will Liberia benefit from, and Liberia will benefit a lot. Some people are saying Liberia will not benefit, and so forth. So some people that will be.
The reason why you make a such debate, it's a counterfactual debate to have. Where do you collect your data? It's an academic argument.
No,
When
but some people are saying, but for me, right?
Kehleboe-
But Kehleboe, some people are saying West Sierra Leone benefited from, like, one of my brother told me today, when Sierra Leone was, because they see that Sierra Leone occupied that, that's why we just won. We come and take what I see on Sierra Leone. So the question was, what Sierra Leone can show that they benefited from? But here's the thing, though, and here's the thing: you are sitting, Ambassador Brown. We sitting we sitting on the panel with the ambassador to the UN from America, the ambassador of the UN to China, from France, Great Britain, all the 5 permanent members and the most powerful nations in the world. Now, like my brother Costa said on his post, Liberia can take advantage and leverage their presence on the panel. A lot of ways you can do it. If Gaiman is the ambassador for US ambassador to the UN, Gaiman have access to that. I mean, I have access to Gaiman as a Liberia ambassador, right? I have easy access. Well, we all on our committee together, right? We can easily exchange. Now, through that, you have opportunity to make to present Liberia to that person. Say, look, Liberia, we need a lot of stuff in Liberia now. We need a lot of investment, a lot of stuff. We encourage the current American companies to come and to visit our country and see how best they can help us. Like, for instance, instead of taking our natural resources out of the country, just exporting it, maybe a company can say, look, we can build a factory in Liberia to that natural resources will be used right there. I mean, you can use a lot of ways you can do it.
Mr. George, Mr. George, listen.
No, but Tomalin.
Listen, Mr. Gongloe, 1 minute. Let the man rest. Go ahead.
For instance, right? If Louis Brown, I mean, it's not about who you for, right? If Louis Brown say, well, look, he can. Who's the American ambassador?
Not Louis Brown, but just the Liberian ambassador.
Yeah, he don't want to represent us there now. So he will be there. He can tell that he can easily make it possible. So look, I would like for our I would like for our Secretary of State to meet your own Secretary of State or arrange a meeting with your president and our president. I mean, these things can happen, right? It can happen.
Yeah.
It's possible.
So is that a benefit?
Mr. George.
I give him.
Mr.
George. A lot of benefits, man. Come
Mr.
on,
George.
Don't,
Mr. George.
No, I'm not saying there's no benefit.
Listen,
I've never said that to
Mr.
you.
Gongloe, what Mr. George is selling us is pie in the sky. What I would like for the Liberian delegation to say, for the next 2 years, these are our goals. In the next 2 years, we're going to encourage Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Budweiser to come to Liberia. In the next 2 years, we are going to have a new university built. In the next 2 years, we are going to upgrade our road system. We want something tangible that 2 years from now or within a year time, we can say, let's do a midway evaluation. Have we met these things?
Call Louis Bryan and speak back to him. Tell the man.
I'm just telling you, I want something measurable goal, something we can say a year from now we are midway. What have we accomplished among the 5 things that you are going to? Don't tell me we're going to expose ourselves to this person. We're going to have the ear of the. No. Tell me, what are you going to leverage? What are the things? What are your goals? You go in there, you got a plan. What is the plan when you go to the seat? What you carrying? Don't tell me I will have the ear of the next Chinese man. No. Let's go from there. Yeah,
okay, so here what I was saying. Let me say this quickly. You know, Tomalin is saying, I know he and I have a little discussion about this, on the phone 2 days ago. All for one, look, I have learned, vast one for that matter, in Liberia. I like to have access to market to sell my product. I like to have a country with high income, purchasing power that people can buy my meat, my guinea fowl and other stuff. I like to have that because I'll put some money in my pocket, okay? But here is the thing we need to catch to focus on. Liberia has a history. And someone will say, what happened whereby? In the 60s, everybody knows there is a book written on Liberia, growth without development, right? We were having the highest growth rate compared to Japan. And Japan came and overtook us because Liberia is known for setting world records on many bad things. If you look at Sierra Leone, you look at Ghana, I'm not even going to talk on Sierra Leone because I know a little bit about Sierra Leone, but I'm going to go to Ghana. Do you know that Ghana was on the Security Council too for 2 years? Did you guys watch the Ghanaian parliamentarian who spoke at the Security Council and spoke against the gay right bill? Here is the thing. Ghana was on the Security Council when Ghana economy honor this guy Adu, how they call him, is that the immediate former president.
Adu?
I think Adu or something like I knew what come. Ghana was on the Security Council when the Ghana economy almost collapsed. They have to go for like a bailout, basically to the World Bank, to IMF. You know, they were on the Security Council. And Ghana has, in terms of education, in terms of skill set, Ghana is 1,000 times ahead of Liberia in terms of everything. Education, infrastructure, road networks, health facility, everything. Ghana. Yet, they didn't leverage it. The economy almost collapsed. It takes good government policies. It takes infrastructure. And these things, the challenge we have to our economic growth, part of it are infrastructure too. In 2 years' time, we'll now have some of those requisite infrastructure that can be built to put our economy on the path of firm growth and leap. No, we're not going to have that. Anyone who say you're going to have that, that person does not know how government works. Even if you go the way international agreement works, you sign one agreement today, that implementation is probably 8 months or 1 year later. Your 2 years is over. You may have some things coming, you may have some scholarship coming, you may have maybe some drug supply coming because they want you to vote for, okay, we'll supply your hospital with drugs for 2 years or for 1 year. You may have those kinds of things, okay? But don't set your hope high because we're not there yet. We don't have the info. The foundation is not there, okay? We already bring what 285 yellow machine that will be all over the place. I know how car will be able to people drive their car on the roadside. We'll look for a place to park them. So all these things have to be put in place. I would love for my country to have all these benefits for people to begin to make money. That when money starts to come in, the legislators and the minister will not make more money, but the civil servant salary will go up and business people will make money and we'll have good school, we'll have good healthcare. I would love to have that. Every Liberian dreams of having that. Because we're tired of living in the US. I want to take my skill back to Liberia to go teach kids in elementary a foundational math that can make them, that can give them firm foundation in math. On what I've learned here, teaching kids in the US. I would love to go there and do it. But I can't do it with no infrastructure, with no facility to do that. Okay? So let us not just buy into politician grandiose expectation here. We'll sit on the show and we hop into politician because maybe one politician says so. No, it's not going to happen like that. Not that it can't happen. It could happen just because we don't have the foundation. We need to build a foundation. That's my argument.
Mr. Namwe, I was on the UN page here. It says, while the non-permanency doesn't change the country fundamental power base, at least it offers some crucial platform for exercising authority on international security. They said it doesn't really change anything per se, but at least you're going to be talking about stability, security issue, and all of that. But to say it would directly go down to the regular folks, it doesn't exist that way.
I agree with Henry Costa. We can leverage it if we play our cards right. Yes, because the seat actually it represents peace building, international security. But and we were here talking about what the president not do right after he won the seat. I mean, talking about building peace. If you can't build peace, build the peace at home. What pedigree are you coming with on the international scene that you will build peace? How difficult is it for you to acknowledge those who helped you along the way or who paved the way for you to, go and win a seat? So, it remains to be seen. There are no tangible, no specified benefits, that could accrue to us. But if we leverage it well, yeah, because it gives us access, right? We'll be, at the table, rubbing shoulders with the big five, and other, members who are also not permanent members. I think there are 10 others who, 9 others who will be joining Liberia. So it gives you access, it gives you, is sit in the room at the table. And if you play your cards right, yeah, I mean, you can always strike a conversation. You're sitting by, the US ambassador to the UN, or the Chinese ambassador, or the UK ambassador, So there's possibilities. But it would depend on us, how we drive this car. We're not in the seat. And I think, we have the keys in our hands, but it would depend on us how we drive it. And I agree with, those who are asserting that. I think we're making too much out of this. Quite honestly, it's embarrassing. Look, I congratulate the government for staying with this and bringing it home. I think they deserve congratulations. The president and, my friend Sarah, my fellow Scorpion sister, they did a good job. But, it's, look, Sierra Leone has been there already. I think it's been pointed out here. Other countries have been there. People are still celebrating Monrovia. I don't know. I don't want to sound unappreciative of the effort, but it's just a seat at the table. Like we're saying, yeah, if we play our cards right, but as of now, I don't see any benefits that this is going to bring until unless we play our cards right and utilize the access effectively, while also demonstrating that indeed we are credible to go and talk about peace building and peacekeeping on the international scene.
And Mr. Gimmon, while we're talking about that, President Trump just signed a travel ban, banning the following countries he banning Afghanistan, Burma, Chad, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Thank God Liberia is not on that list. Praise God for Liberia.
But whatever became of that draft memo.
Is that DRC or Congo?
It's a Republic of the Congo.
Okay, that Congo, not DRC.
Yeah,
because DRC is on the council now, right?
Yeah, they're elected, yeah.
On the Security Council.
He said the ban takes effect as of Monday, 12 a.m. Yeah, he said.
Wow.
He said there will be heightened restrictions on visitors from Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. He said, I must act to protect the national security and national interest of the United States and its people, Trump said in his proclamation.
I don't know. What Sierra Leone did to be on that list?
Hey, man. It goes to Liberia.
I want to know what Sierra Leone did. There is my suspicion. Sierra Leone is one of the countries in West Africa that has invited Russia to build nuclear plant for energy. That's all.
Hey, man.
The first leader of Sierra Leone said, listen, we will go anywhere. We need to solve our electricity crisis.
Yeah.
We're not going for nuclear bomb, but we need to have nuclear energy that can supply electricity cheap to all the villages in Sierra Leone. And
especially that now that the U.S. is turning off all of their resources, they're not giving any more help. Why can't people go wherever they want to go?
I gotta be careful because
this is why even those who argue, Mr. Nyenwolo, I say, look, let's wait and see. Can Liberia vote against when America say no? Liberia can never. So it makes Liberia less valuable to the Security Council because they will always vote to America. That's all. If America even going against everything they're going to use their veto power, Liberia will have no need to vote. Liberia will side with America. I mean, that is the tradition.
Chief George.
Yeah.
Okay, now that you want to talk about our Liberia, our seat, if America votes, will my bastard brother have the courage to vote against Trump?
Well, he will have to consult. He will have to consult with Madam Sarah.
Sir President Bwaka.
But Chief, then we see President we as representative voting against Israel and the president coming and cussing and reversing the vote. Don't you remember that?
So he learned his lesson.
We'll see. Like my brother, brother Gongloe is saying, I didn't remain to be seen. What we'll make of this, but all this celebration, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Listen,
Why you spend $5 million to on such a thing?
Because they don't gotta have money to spray. Why you asking that?
Chief George.
Yeah.
Tell me.
I don't know why. I don't know what wrong with Dylan. I mean, I
Yeah.
will ask you, what wrong with you?
I was shocked when I saw that video.
The man got money. The man got money.
The man $300 bills.
People are saying they get a lot of money to and the money they play. So you get in the midst of hardship in your country, and you think coming in America and doing that in America, you doing like bro, I understand, but you doing it in America, man.
You can't tell when a man rap at RIA where they will come and lay red carpet for them. You can't tell whether you'll not be spraying the money too. You will do the same. So that watch out. If they does not spray money in Moreover, then we can criticize him.
Listen.
Why is this whole thing about spraying money, my man? I don't understand it.
That's Joe. That's Joe.
Liberia is a case study. Liberia, this is the man who said the Liberian economy was in the toilet just a few years ago. He said the economy was in the toilet. The economy has not improved one bit. And here he is, in fact, it has retrogressed. And he's going around throwing money. And people are celebrating him.
His economy has improved.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mr. Pewee, your bastard brother, Dylan, was celebrating the success of Liberia on the international level.
When I thought Sylvester that nephew is going to Bassa again.
Listen, they made a politician, and so wherever they go, whoever wins is related to them. So you're flashing money. They're not wasting money on people. Once they were serenading him, he was leading the grand march, wasting money while the people suffering. Is that the kind of image that you want as a politician, as a diplomat?
No, I quite frankly, and you see, Dylan, like someone can say, he quick to chicken in. Wait, that the question one asking, he
can't tell again, embarrassing mom.
Yeah, he quick to chicken in, right? So, but again, sometimes men, they say men are men in some cases, and that's why when you are a politician, you have to be critical and you have to be balancing how you want to approach certain things, right? So you don't imagine they don't even went that far as saying a time ago that Prince Johnson daughter went to him asking him, Prince went to him asking he belonged to give his daughter a job.
Yeah, or talk to the president to get his daughter.
Talk to the president to give him a daughter, other kind of line. At the time, immediately after the demise of the former senator, why would they need to bring kind of conversation up? So
we can't even tell whether it was even true because the man had died.
Exactly, right? So sometimes he take the debate, and that's why sometimes he's a big brother, but sometimes he got to put his acts together in terms of, he slept yesterday, and professional do sleep. We call that professional slippages. As professional do sleep, politician do sleep. I think when he was carried away, probably he was too much. He was too happy. The happiness was too extraordinary, so to the extent that he could not control it. But it's quite unfortunate too. And this part of the debate now that is unfolding in the country, that we're seeing you spending around $4.5 to $5 million to canvass for this job. For this victory to be a non-permanent member on the Security Council. And in an attempt to do what he did yesterday, it's just clear that people will say, and this the man that even said before people were spineless, right? And then he doing those kind of a thing in the public glare is unfortunate. Probably he would say it's because of the country he's celebrating, but it's just quite unfortunate. And give me honestly, I don't love to elevate those kind of a debate for a very long time, because these are the people we have now for the country. And unfortunately, these are the people that are controlling the political, even the Senate. He's one of those that got a lot of influence in the Senate. He made decisions on behalf of the pro-tem, right? He's one of those people that control, she just one person there just sitting. The main man that's controlling the Liberian Senate now is the former pro-tem, the sanctioned former pro-tem, right? Second to him probably will beat the law and the rest of that. So these are things that are unfolding there. it's quite unfortunate that these are the people we have currently in. And people thought that the Trump administration coming in were never going to focus on doing sanction and other things. No, if anybody thought that way, they lie. They are seriously mistaken, rather. So a lot of things going to unfold. You see, as too many were just talking about this executive order, that's the information that maybe more of those. But we just have to ensure that accountability and other things should be projected in the country. But to see what your Basel brother did, and you know, I know the Basel people love to enjoy.
Your nephew now, your Basel nephew.
My nephew.
You see, Tomalin George, they all from Orange Grove all the way going down, so he related to it. They know what time it is.
And you know what happened yesterday? You saw the son that they were playing Desi.
That's one that song. That song powerful.
Of course.
Diabo.
I got Diabo.
So it's so easy to kind of lie, though.
But Pewee, something going on here in America that we all have to take key notice of. One is Honorable George Tim just released the immediate ban of countries, and then there are other secondary countries. And in that second group is Sierra Leone and our neighbors. Not only that, but there was an illegal act in Boulder, Colorado last week where a guy threw firebomb in a protest. And what the administration did was they arrested him, his wife, all his children, all family members, five of them.
Five children and his wife.
That's correct. And they want to deport them immediately because they are here illegally. Their paper have not been processed.
No, the guy had used the
firebomb.
The firebomb.
The boat or something?
Yes.
Money cocktail.
His family illegally?
Yes. The entire family.
Not only that, the family, he and his family, he came to the country, but he's a wicked individual. Very wicked. That man should not be given the opportunity to even see the sunlight of this sort, to be very frank.
And he also told the people, he said, I have no regret what I did.
He said he regretted why he didn't care people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
imagine that's why I said,
but Honorable Pewee and Mr. George, let's look at this now. The government is saying there's no way people in our house can say they don't know what's going on when they went back in the house and found almost 100 of those things being manufactured all over the house. And they cannot say it's our father, we don't know what he was doing. So they are saying, listen, man, if you saw this and you didn't say anything, there is no reason for us to be here and talking about you. Your father called, he pled for whatever reason, he applied for clemency and whatsoever. He got it. Through the asylum program, he brought his family. So the family have not settled, their documents have not been prepared, have not been everything finalized. And this happened. So the government is saying, listen, that's fine. You've been here illegally anyway, so it's time for you guys to leave. So now they are making a claim, even though we are here illegally, but our father crime, we should not be held responsible for our father's crime. Mr. Nambe, isn't that crazy?
No, we're all immigrants, and so there's some degree of empathy. But I agree with you. Molotov cocktail, it requires certain amount of ingredients that are just difficult to consume. Even the gasoline you put in the bottle, the smell and all of that. And these people always say, if you see something, say something. There are stories here of families who have actually called the cops on their own relatives because of exactly what is happening. His actions could jeopardize the entire family. I think that is what is happening now. I think he went to his daughter's graduation. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
That's where he wanted to do this, and so I have absolutely no understanding of why he chose to do what he did. and then he chickened out, I mean, so to speak. He was unable to carry through. So yeah, the law is funny. Maybe the family can really go and make their case that the sins of the father should not be visited on the children or the relatives. But I don't know. I think it will be difficult for them to,
It will be very difficult. The fact that he
Yeah.
was operating within the house,
Yeah.
all those things.
Yeah.
And it's not a big house, right? It's going to be very difficult for him to survive this issue. I know crime is not transferable, but the circumstances under which he's a monster. On a serious note, it's very unfortunate that you have your family in the country and then you try to target other people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no justification whatsoever for what he did. No justification. And he just put his own family in total harm's way and the kind of a predicament that we don't see them coming out of. On a serious.
Mr. George, the reason I brought this up, not because it happened to this man, I'm talking about I want to put it in a Liberian context. Because when I lived in Newark, New Jersey, we had a Liberian family who had their children. They were in the gangs, they were selling drugs, and they were bringing money and they were living large. Now, I bring this home because if something happens, if your child that you are benefiting from illegally, if that child in the gang kills anybody, right, Pewee, and the government goes back to the house and find out that this young man has lived in your house and you have benefited from that crime, wouldn't it be fair that the government say, listen, you are on TPS, or are you in the house, you benefited from this, you got to go? Isn't that, don't we have to be very careful what we do in our houses?
But like what this lady is saying, Eugenia is saying, crime is not transferable. It is possible that they did not know what his plans were, what he was doing. Honestly, no. And you won't believe it. Sometimes people I don't want to relate against something that happened, but sometimes you find out people are living, you think they're living, everything is okay, everything is normal. I see Mr. Nyenwolo Pewee, I visit your place, as everything's normal. I go to your office, everything normal. But now when you guys are involved in something that what you guys are doing is not even normal, but in my eyes it's looking normal, but until reality steps and sets in. So sometimes you're doing something, you finally will not even know what you're up to. You're giving a different impression of yourself. Yo, there are people who are monster, okay? Who are monster who would to the extent where they would even kill their own kids. They would even harm their own kids. Okay, you have a woman who they want to do that, then they can say, "Oh, a mental problem." Give me a break. The person is normal doing it. He said the person get mental problem to kill your own kids. I mean, I know there are people who can do it though, but some people will do some of the heinous things that you weren't expecting to do. And so, I agree with Eugenia that I don't maybe they put that
But yeah, it's something we call this. Don't be, the next thing.
So 1 minute, you go ahead, Nambi.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Chief, Eugenia's point is good, but it would have held water if you're talking about a normal government. This government we're under right now.
Right, you're right.
The way these guys are twisting the law, even finding fault where there are no fault. The smallest little thing, I think they will stretch it to the limit. So, Sylvester, you can go ahead.
No, but I was just going to say, yeah, we may take it is difficult here, right? I agree that they didn't know that, but it's just like if you were to move into New York and get onto to the metro or other thing or on the public buses in New York, probably every 2 minutes or every 1 minute or so on that bus or on to the metro there, you're gonna hear if you see something, say something, right? New Yorkers are very used to that. If you see something, say something. Now, the number of Molotov cocktail they fall in this house, it is just impossible for no one, even the wife or other people in the house, to observe that something unusual unfolding. Could you report that? So something is happening here, we don't understand what it is. Probably will have served the rest of them. The number of them, the sending phone. You see, the pattern of the investigation, we have to be a little mindful. I'm sad about this, to see these things happen to family, because everyone will want to come to this country to seek some opportunity. This is a land of opportunity. People come here to seek opportunity. But if you were to come here, and that's one of the reasons to seek to turn the opportunity into giving those kind of thing, attacking people, totally that is unacceptable. So he just put his family in harm's way and all of things, and inconvenient them to the point that the information is that they maybe moved to a removal site in Texas and all of things, waiting to be deported. I don't know how fast are they going to go about it. It's going to expedite this process and then get in. So unfortunately, but it's unfortunate. What did he do this? Well, his motivation, right? Oh, his motivation, what the mission, what the motivation, and all of things. Now part of the motivation, as he said, free this, free that, but is that justified? Is that, we don't want to go too deep into this and that, but is that justified to do all he did? And not only that few border he took along, but they found a lot of them in his home. And that's a very tight home. It's difficult. So I agree with Eugenia's point, but we want to put this back to Eugenia and say to her, in your house, for instance, if someone there is doing something terrible in your house that you're very close to, let's say, for instance, your husband or partner, and there are things that you observe in the house that is unusual, and if something terrible happened, the security force want to go deep to try to find out if someone was aiding and abetting the process, or were they complicit in the act? Did they know about it, right? In a kind of event, and the investigation now the way it's unfolding, we have to allow the security force to do some investigation. And as we say, we in tough times, right? But we all collectively have to be.
Yeah, but Pewee, as it stands, they stand no chance whatsoever because they are all undocumented, right? So even on that alone, they don't even have to go anywhere. You are illegal in that country.
Yeah, he came in the U.S. according to the news. He came in the U.S. legally, and then he filed for asylum. He went out of the regular asylum, and then he filed for asylum, but the asylum was denied. Right, it got denied. So
he overstayed his tourist visa.
He overstayed, tourist B1, B2 visa. Eventually, after that process, when he knew he was overstayed and other things, he applied for asylum. The asylum got denied. Now, look at the mindset you got, and that's part of it. The asylum got denied. His kid was still here going to school.
Yeah.
Right, evident by his daughter's graduation that he attended on Thursday. Right, and all these things, and again, unfortunately, this happened. Listen. These are things we all are family people. We all pray for. None of us will ever even contemplate doing that. My top spot will be always be nobody clean, with not injured, but it's unfortunate that you have to endanger your own family, not himself, basically, right? So it's just unfortunate, very unfortunate that he's a monster that no one should even want to talk about. Trying to look at 88-year-old, look at that, trying to punish 88-year-old person. Come on.
Mr. George.
What do you want to think about this thing? It's unacceptable.
You and I and everybody else, when we get young children, the first thing we do is we take life insurance, right? So if something happened to us, our children can live. So our children are the first, our thought. You think somebody who is going to kill somebody will say, you know what? I'm jeopardizing not just me, but my children. The children will be, what? What? Are we different or something? That listen.
Let me ask a question, right? So you brought something up. So if somebody gets life insurance, and the person go and intentionally kill themselves, the insurance company will pay the benefits?
No.
If it's suicide, no, they won't.
No, but I don't get investigated. No, and I come in. That's a strike you just tried, right? Because that's what they always call. The insurance company will want to do some what we call. They'll have to validate the cause of death first and foremost. And that cause of death will have to be given by a reputable medical institution to say so. But you see, and one of the things I'm unfortunately about insurance fraud all over the place, people do a lot of things to do that, and they can get when you are caught, there are consequences also for those things. But no insurance company will pay time to you for that. You go do that because no insurance company. But mind you, there are stories in other parts of the world that somebody put money on somebody, they go intentionally kill the person. And somebody will kill them through food poisoning and other things. And sometimes the insurance company, under some circumstances, will call for autopsy. And when the autopsy report comes out and find out the person was poisoned, slowly, then probably die you're not going to get.
Great.
Why is wicked?
Mr. Lambert.
Yep.
I just got this here. I'm just reading it. It says here, the United Nations General Assembly have elected the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, and Liberia, along with Bahrain, Colombia, and Latvia, to serve 2-year term as non-permanent members of the UN Security Council starting January 2026. This is the DRC's third term, Liberia's second. Both pledge to focus on peace, security, global challenges like inequality and climate change. That's the pledge of Liberia. So I was just talking about what Liberia intend that we can hold them responsible for. This is it. They want to talk about climate change. They want to talk about the global challenges. So, Josh, so how do we gauge our country now? We say, some of us say we want jobs, we want healthcare, they are talking about climate change and other stuff that some will say will not impact us directly, like bread and butter issue.
But like I said again, right?
I didn't read this piece of it, but now Liberia has according to their release, they have pledged these are the things that they are going to do.
Like, okay, let me say something. There's something I'm reading here. Okay, this guy wrote a very good piece about it. I think I'll just go quickly. That's not the whole thing, but Michael J. Anderson, like he said, a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council gives a country increased global prestige and a voice in critical decisions on peace, security, and international law. It allows the country to promote national and regional interests, influence global debates, and build stronger diplomatic ties with powerful nations. What I just said, powerful nations. Thus demonstrates a commitment to multilateralism, enhances the country's foreign policy profile, and can be leveraged for domestic and international credibility. Now, he said, though the term is just 2 years, the visibility and influence gained of the EU lasting strategic and diplomatic benefits. However, with this elevated platform comes greater responsibility. Countries elected to a non-permanency must not only contribute meaningfully on a global stage, but also translate the enhanced status into real, measurable improvements at home. They must strive to uplift the citizens' standard of living through sound governance, economic development, and inclusive policies that reflect the very principles they advocate at the international level. I mean, honestly, I like what Mr. Brother Anderson said. Is in fact, your prestige is there. You are well known. Now, today, you check at the State Department, other major capitals around the world. Oh, they get to find out who the new people on the Security Council and Liberia's name is there. Okay, now they are mentioned there. So you are being, whenever they talk about U.S. Security Council, about Gaza, about Ukraine, Liberia will be on our seat taking that. So now you get to rub shoulders with all these people. It's all about the personnel. I repeat, those who will be representing Liberia, at that level, it's up to them. You must navigate the way to help leverage Liberia presence there. But if you're not effective, if you're not an effective diplomat, that'll be a waste. But if you know how to navigate, I mean, they have some people who are very seasoned, who know how to network, who know how to when I just come and just show on, put picture on Facebook. Yeah, I took picture with the person, I met it. But no, when you meet the people, try to really put your country first, your country image, put it first. But at the same time, too, you cannot be doing stupid foodness in the country. You violate the constitution of Liberia, and then you won't be talking whether they will question you because the thing will come up. They'll say, "Well, what is this? Your Supreme Court issue a ruling, and you say you're not going to obey it. You're not going to obey the Supreme Court ruling, so it affects you. Then also too, when they find your government official living this opulent lifestyle, and they say, the country, you come here, you see your brothership with all these things, and then the country people are living in poverty. So you got to balance it. A level of the people who occupy this position. If not, then we'll just be wasting our time for the next 2 years.
Mr. Namwe, I think Mr. John has a point here. Liberia is very good in duality. There's a dichotomy in our lifestyle, like the folks here. Mr. George, are you listening?
Yeah, listening.
Excuse me, I'm talking to Mr. Namwe. Are you listening? Or
I am.
Telling you your bedtime?
It's getting close.
But what I'm saying here,
listen. You know what?
One minute. Yeah. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf on the international level. She was everywhere being hailed and getting all these awards, and everything was falling apart in Liberia, right? Now here we are. We have who sits on that seat now, or Mr. George, who owns that seat that we're going after next year?
No, Louis Brown.
No. Who on that? Who owns
Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is there right now.
And Sierra Leone has just been banned, right? Why are they on the seat?
No, we gotta be careful. Man, Ben also.
I'm telling you now. So, Mr. Nambe, here we go. We got this. It's a double-edged sword, right?
Right now, even now, right? When people put their papers in, they marry somebody in Africa to try to file for another account.
Yeah.
People say, well, I mean, imagine people are not even sure what it will happen, it will go through. When people go for interview nowadays, they're uncomfortable because the guys are standing by the place there. It just try to see you. When they say they see you, so okay, let me see. Let me see what they want here. He got some warrant. Grab this guy or this woman. I mean, the guy were afraid. So some people get in trouble. Some people get the boyfriend in trouble. The country, they're afraid that they will book them, and you thinking about whether you got anything pending on you. So, I mean, like Mr. Namwe said, we're not in normal times.
No.
Mr. Namwe.
I tell you, look, I'll come to
Mr. Namwe.
Yeah.
We are talking about this seat. We are not there yet. The country that owns the seat has just been banned.
Sometimes it's good to keep your head low, right? Don't stick your head up too high. And then you become recognizable. So I don't know. I hope what it did to Sierra Leone, it's not a sign of things to come. But I tell you before I get to the question, look, what you were saying, this gone April, my wife and I were traveling to Liberia. Right there in that JFK, 2 marshal black guys. I've seen marshals on the plane several times, but this time the guns, were all brandishing their weapon to the extent where they set up the security alarm. But yeah, and they were pulling people aside after a couple of our brothers who were also going, African brothers, they crossed the checking and everything, and they put them aside. Where you walk through the gangway and go and obviously that's where they put them aside. So these are abnormal times. But I was just wondering, with the pledge that we're making to climate change and all of that, what becomes of our arrangement to sell the carbon credits to was it Saudi Arabia, the $50 billion or something like that? I wish you're going to pursue that now. Or Sylvester, you're in the international world. What do you have to say?
Was there any deal or such? That's not their flow show. But honestly, I know that this message to sell, I just have to tell them to behave well. Right, Jerome? So we're not going to be off the say that we will own it. Now, listen, if the government does not regard the rule of law, there are a lot of things. Anything rule of law that would not guarantee the national security of the world's most powerful country, there will be problem. There's consequences in these things, right? So it's thank God that the government went back to respecting the rule of law, and they have to continue on that. Now, the fact that you own the Security Council, because the Security Council is about projecting global peace and security in the world, so they really have to regard.
But Pewee, we won this prize, and the first thing out of the country, according to the front page, I would say Liberia, and this is June 4th, 2025. President Waka's speech snubs former President Weah in the UN Security Council victory speech. Okay? And they read, Liberia has secured an important victory by winning a seat as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council for year 2025, 2026 to 2027. But while President Joseph Yuma Waka celebrated the achievement and acknowledged past national leaders in his acceptance speech, his omission of immediate past President George Weah, the man widely credited with initiating this particular bid, has stirred political and public debate and backlash. So here we are, a person who had just won a seat, talking about records.
Sorry, Jerome, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
About reconciliation and bringing our nation together and everything else. just made the biggest blunder of all time.
Oh yes.
But I mean offending. So how does this guy go back to the UN and say we are going to go around the world preaching peace, reconciliation, and all of that? How this is a duality we talked about, where you look good on paper, but at home you are falling apart.
No, it's quickly. It's unfortunate. Jerome and Stuart, though, I thought his handlers and the speech writer, those that are heading his activity as the president of our country, didn't do well for him, or probably he may have told them intentionally that, hey, omit that portion of the speech. I'm not going to call his name. I'm not going to give credit to him. And that's the kind of a thing. We need leadership in the country. We need leadership that will push some genuine process towards us moving forward. We've been headed to some very difficult times, and that is unfortunate. To play the role we currently supposed to be playing requires some top leadership. And some of the reason why people always have other concern is that our president is not prepared to engage or reconcile the country. Then how do you move about talking about being on a very powerful national security council to talk about global peace and national security across the world? So we have to be, even the rule of law have not been adhered to in the country. They've been abusing the law and all those things. And they're not being accounting in other lines. So I mean, just unfortunate situation. But we look forward to.
Well, we got 15 more minutes. We got 15 more minutes here. But let me say this now.
I will have to run. Yeah.
Before you go, let Torso, right? It says here, Unity recognizes Weah's role. It says here, though President Boakai did not mention Weah in his address, Foreign Minister Unity was more forthcoming in acknowledging the former leader's role. And read this way. She says, the previous administration had this vision, but did not get the opportunity to implement it. She said, we told them this vision would not die. We carried the torch forward. We exhausted every effort, and we said, with or without anyone's approval, we will go, and we did it. So she is a seasoned diplomat who did not have a prepared speech. She was speaking from her guts, and she spoke, and I think this speaks a lot about who she is.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the way to go, right? And she herself worked with the United Nations for quite a long time, got a lot of international experience as the UN. Most of the roles she played, she worked in very poor and the world newest country, if you will, South Sudan and the rest of that. So that's it. It is the brainchild of the past government. They started this whole process about trying to project Liberia to this non-permanent member seat. And I thought the president should have won a very great day yesterday by just coming to announce, even placing a call to the former president, inviting him over to the executive management to sit with them. That guy to sit with them, make news, call him, invite him openly, invite him to an official communication, and then you place a call to him again. If he did not attempt, then that would have been different. We all would have gone after him to some level to express our own frustration. But he didn't do that. But you didn't mention him. But what, to the contrary, he did, and she, as a foreign minister, did. I mean, that's the best thing to do, because she inherited this thing as a project the country was trying to pursue, and the past government didn't achieve, and that she have achieved it. And this going to go through his government. I thought he made a very good opportunity yesterday.
Great. Your parting words, we got to go.
Thank you.
You leave. Your parting words.
Yes, we look forward to seeing the country move forward. We pray for the country to not be, we pray and we ask the Father God to remove all difficulties towards our country not being sanctioned, towards peace going to our country, to look for some top opportunities for the country, that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will work with the different Liberian professionals to allow us to work in other part of the globe to also contribute to global peace and security.
Thank you very much. Mr. George, before we go, I want you to opine on this. Mr. Koga was speaking to a group of folks, and he told the folks basically how ungrateful he is He lied to Musa ability. He says, I told him to build a bridge. He built a bridge, and he built a bridge during my election. He got 71 votes, and I got 3. He got 400 and change. This is unbelievable.
He told the people, say, and he lied to Musa.
Yes.
And where he told Musa to build a bridge, and Musa got 71 votes there.
Yeah.
But you know, look, it's not strange though. Prince Johnson did the same thing to Mr. Cummings. The man contributed quietly, contributed to his school quietly. When time came, he started to make fun out of it. And he downplayed the contribution. Somebody that gave you the hard-earned money, $50,000 of the hard-earned money. You all know how it's hard to work in America for money. Those people that can spoil money, they know how to work for money, how they spoil money, you know. And sometimes when you send somebody money in Africa, they won't question you because other people in Liberia spending money more than you sending them. Because that person that's spending that money in Liberia, you know how you work for your money. Okay? But if Koga said that, I'm not listening to it, but it's very unfortunate.
Let me play it real quick a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I say once?
Low.
It's very low, eh?
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me see if I can put this on. Oh man. Yeah, it's very low. But I'll send it to you. Hopefully the guy can enhance it. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But yeah, what he said, I mean, it is so
You already saying I fooled the man, right?
Yes. Yes.
But you know, he just got elected to finish. I mean, he got a 9 years. 9 years. I mean, how many years Prince Johnson had? 9 years. He got already gone one. So he got 7 more years, I think. He just got it, you know. And so, but he's saying that it makes no sense because it's development. The man took his money and built something for the people, and you say you fooled him, man. I mean, tomorrow you think it will use that same statement against him tomorrow? Whoever he's supporting in 2029, so will use that statement against him that you say you fool somebody to help you, and you know. But look, our politics is just full of deception. But one thing I do know, 2029, people will learn a lot of lessons now. All the who fool people eat their money and play fun with them, not going to happen. Here come and say, what happened to him in 2023 will not happen to him no more. And because he has been through the process, he has been through various politicians and so forth. I think he knows them well now. So as a result, I'm not going to come and play on somebody and fool them because fool me once. What is it? Fool me once what?
Yeah, you want to mess with my boy.
Yeah, you can't. Trust me, right now, I tell people, right? So you're John say, oh, for that person now, for that person. No, you gotta be careful, you gotta be mindful because look, we got 2025, 26 coming, 27. These are 2 crucial years. By the end of 2027, May 2027, that when you know where things heading. Because by that time, if this government have not got the priorities straight, they have not impacted people's lives, people are still struggling and catching hard time, definitely, you know, that they'll be getting worried because people will get them out of office. They will like them, get them out. And make no mistake, you may even be the ruling party, depending on how the kind of opposition that will be going against you. If the opposition is 2 or 3 parties that are united, I don't care what happened. And the people are all for that party or for that person that heading that party, they will stand no chance if they have not delivered to the people. That's why everything they're doing right now, I mean, they got to impact people's lives. The people are now feeling the development, feeling what they're part of the economy that are impacting their lives to help them. The children are out of schools, our medical. Look at right now, we'll have to do it next week or maybe some other week. The dialysis issue in Liberia is serious. Dialysis machine. I mean, somebody asked me, said, Tomalin, this person need to go share a loan for dialysis because right now the machine is down. The person and people, you know what dialysis? I mean, you know the essence of doing that dialysis, the essence of it, you know, to help people refine their blood, and if you can, and it just and getting swelling because of the germs and everything. No one to help them. It's a serious thing, though. A serious thing.
But Mr. George, I will listen to the patient. The money that they are paying, how? The gentleman said he pays $230 twice a week.
Wow.
U.S. not, he said twice a week. How is it possible?
Wow. And why you don't have anybody to help? Look, man, it's worrisome though. Worrisome. Sometimes you just sit down, you wonder, because then that's what I'm trying to say. Then people taking money, coming abroad and playing with it like that. People taking all kind of stuff. Look, I'll tell you this, right, Mr. Gaiman. Why it is true that I'm not a fan of Trump or anything, and what, but that thing they call Dodge, right? If that Dodge program to be like Liberia to where a government get the power and say your goal, our whole thing is that go in our national budget, look in the economy, find where we can tackle waste and abuse, money and fraud. We want to take it, check the whole duty is to examine the entire government, go from agency to agency, everywhere, find where we're having wastage and abuse and fraud. Take it from there and take that money. We'll see how best will come for all of it. Trust me, the person will cut down. You're working, they pay you money, you buy your own generator, pay for your own generator. You're not going to be paying for a generator for you, buying fuel for you for what? No, they'll take all that stuff down. Instead of buying $4,000 car for ministers, if you can't live on $12,000 car, $10,000 car is up to you. But we'll get these cars from Buck and $40,000 for what? Just to be riding and go to the Calabash, to go to survey launch. All they do with it.
One little maneuver, but the worst crime I think that have been committed against the Liberian people is paying housing allowance for people who in their own country. How?
I love what Ben said. Love what Ben Sanvee said. John Malushu had Liberia's Dodge. Now, if Boga is serious for you, he will appoint this man and say, look, we talk about waste, fraud, and abuse. The one appoint Johnson to take care of it. And then they take all the money that can be used for priorities priorities in our priorities in the country, like our health care, our students still sitting on the floor in Liberia today. But look at the ministers' then budget. Look at what happened in the country. It's sad, though. It's so sad. We need a Dodge program. Seriously, I think our because they should be pushed to let them establish the office of Dodge in Liberia. Let them do it. So
how can a lawmaker that make $15,000, $20,000 a month? Why would you pay his rent? And he lives in his own house.
Yeah, paying the rent, getting that scratch car. I mean, all this stuff. I mean, look, if you can cut this thing down and put the money, the people see where the money is. They say, when they tell me, if somebody said, look, that's what we just did. We saved $100 million for our budget. They'll say, oh my God, but then $100 million now. Coming to empower our local farmers, empower our marketers, and put it in our loans. Man, look, oh my God, the country is bleeding. We are bleeding. As I say, we need transformative leadership.
Your central bank president was over there talking about the money he makes, and my son thought it was in Liberian dollar when the guy said, "Oh, he said I don't make 60,000. That's a lot. I think like 56,000." Can you imagine the message?
And besides that, they benefit the people got. They pay the housing allowance. The people got everything they want. They got for what? For what? Look,
a month. The man said, I don't make 60,000 a month. I make only 56 a month. $56,000 a month. Can you imagine that in this country? Some people don't even make close to 56,000 a year.
Oh yeah. And
the Liberian man said, "Don't lie on me. I didn't make 60,000. I made only 56,000."
I mean, it's sad though, Mr. Gaiman. It's so sad. Until you come close to home, when somebody relative die because of lack of health, stuff, that when people can really get to feel it. But it's like we travel. You go to Africa. You go there tomorrow. And then something happens, you can't get out of the country. You stuck there because the facility is there. That's why it's not in your shoes. You got to start talking now, And we tell people. And my only prayer is that our voters, our fellow Liberians, should learn. I mean, for the last 5 election cycle, you keep on doing the same thing. and you expect the result to change, it will not change. I mean, you see what's happening every day. Now, all the people that came to America to the UN office the week, for what? Tell for that one vote. You brought all the people there, all they come in, they get for per diem, the airplane tickets, the accommodation, and mind you, they pay for more than almost 3 weeks to a month. Somebody been here. And then they get free. You check that delegation in America that came for that UN stuff, it over 50%. Because some lawmakers are all joining too. They're all there. But yeah, people, and check the money that was spent to compare. Man, look, again, like I said, Mr. Gayman, we're going to do all the talking. Like my man Ben Sanvee can say, somebody, I used to always say, we got to talk about it. We got to be the moral voice of reasoning. But yeah, you talk for nothing. The people just cuss you up and say, look at this here, our friend here, because they support the government, they defend him and praise him. They say, oh yeah, look what I was saying. Look, God said, no. He will just sit down and just talk about a thing, trash all day because he support the government. It's not, say, in America, you're comfortable. But the people that in that bro struggling, suffering, but you can sit down and talk and boast and brag. You think it's fair? One day.
I mean, you're right, because when I listen, I'll send you the video when you have time to listen
to
see another lawmaker, right? To find somebody to come to your hometown and help your people. Instead of being, the least you can do is be grateful. But to sit there and brag that you crook him, and it's for you, it's a badge of honor. That is it doesn't speak well. And I have to say that to my brothers and sisters in Nimba. People said to President Weah, you spend your entire political capital in Nimba, and look what happened. And the same thing, this man just proved to us that someone took their money, came to your district and build a bridge and build roads and did all of these things for you. And then you get into a corner with your folks and you telling them that you undermine the guy who did all of this for you, and you bragging about it. So that's what you're talking about here. How do we change the mindset of our people when our leaders are telling them, teaching them how to be crooked, and then reward them for being crooked, for being dishonest? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in.
I will end the show on this thing. I guess yes, it's serious, and I'm afraid. I pray that man should not think tomorrow, get out tomorrow and say, "La brother, look." President Trump signed a proclamation to ban travel from certain countries on Wednesday evening. This evening, citing national security risks. The ban will be targeted at specific countries, but will allow for exceptions. It takes effect at 12:01 a.m. on Monday. Now, Trump's proclamation fully restricts and limits the entry of nationals from 12 countries: Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Now, it partially restricts the entry of people from 7 countries: Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. President, then he said he in fulfilling his promise to protect Americans from dangerous foreign actors that want to come to our country and cause us harm. These common sense restrictions are country specific, include places that lack proper vetting, high visa overstay, or fail to share identity and threat information. Well, the man said people that overstay and they don't vet them properly before they get them visa to come here. I'm afraid because I pray that our country don't fall into this thing, because trust me.
But Mr. George, remember a few months ago, the U.S. ambassador made it clear the reason why they denied Liberians a lot is because we have one of the highest overstay. You remember that?
Yeah.
So there you go. So Liberia is now out of the crosshair. Those countries that come and then they overstay, Liberia was at the top of that nation according to the U.S. Embassy, because people were complaining why we have such a long line and denial And when people stay in the line for long and go and get denied, some of them want to commit suicide. And they wanted to know why. And the folks told them, Liberia has one of the highest overstays.
I just pray that this thing should not reach our country because, we got our family members trying to come to this country. We can't, they might not stop them. I pray God, they shouldn't happen because we not put too much into it, then they can't stop them from coming. It will just be so sad for us. So pray. Let's pray for Liberia. I thought somebody said, they said, Liberia got one of the highest amount of churches when it comes to
and mosque.
And we fast and pray the churches in Liberia do 7 days. 7 days of service every day. But when they want all the prayers, the country that ain't doing all the prayers and things, they are just moving up. we pray, we fast, we do all kind of stuff. And then people, man, look, anyway.
Our Muslim brothers, they pray, they fast, they got mosque. Our Liberian people got 40-day prayer, they got 40-day fast, they got 90-day fast, they got 10-day fast. Everybody fasting, praying.
And when they call you in America, they say you gotta do a sweet offering. You gotta do the one. You gotta buy. Yeah, plenty. Man, look, the number, Mr. Gimme. My prayers, right? When I'm taking bath, they said that the best prayer. We share with you. The best time to pray when you're in the bathroom taking bath on the shower. That when you pray to God, when you pray, no, God can answer your prayer by doing that because God seeing your whole body. He's seen that you just have brought in the word how you looking right now. So you pray to Him. Tell you say, "Yeah, let me, Lord." You ask for everything. Don't wait till you pray to God that time and ask God and see what I'm telling you will happen. Anything you ask God for when you're in a bathroom taking bath on that shower, God answer your prayer in Jesus' name.
Thank you. Let's call General Butt Naked. He come on, we hear something today. We will pray. We'll pray. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Honorable, thank you for allowing the other folks to come
so much, man.
And share. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. God bless.
Thank you, everybody.